Well, good morning, everybody. Ben in Woods, 97.3. The Fan. Happy Thursday to you, November 7th. Let's get our heads right on a Thursday. Having a little bit of a tough time this morning, trying to get my head right and my body right. The Santa Anas are absolutely kicking my teeth in. You were probably going through the same thing. I'm Woodsy. That's Paul Reindl. He's the executive producer. Good morning, Paulie. Hey, there you go.
We are.
Microphone on.
How are you?
I'm great. Ben Higgins is your friendly neighborhood sports anchor. Santa Ana's getting you as well.
So, I know that because I suffer from allergies, I tried to stay inside for the most part because the Santa Anas just are murder on everybody's allergies. My wife, my son, were both feeling it yesterday, so I actually just remained pretty much inside all day, and I did all right for the most part, but apparently, you had some trouble with your
I've had trouble.
allergies.
It's not.
You've told me before that you don't believe in allergies.
I think allergies are a bit.
But you're telling me now that the Santa Ana winds are kicking up, and you're feeling the effects of that. And I'm just wondering how do you explain then the maladies you're suffering from if it's not allergies?
Irritants. There's irritants in the air.
Irritants.
Yes.
You mean like little particles that get in your nose and eyes that cause them to run and turn red.
Because of the...
That's the definition of allergies, Woods.
Because of the wind and the dryness blows things into my face that I don't normally
Which
have.
you then react to.
I had to go yesterday and pick Bo up from school and then take him to his final soccer practice. And on the last day of soccer practice, it is kids against parents. So I looked around.
What was the line?
Oh, probably like six and a half, seven.
6.5
yeah.
parents by 6.5?
Yeah. So
Kids are just trying to keep it close, see if they can cover.
So I said, I'll play goal. Because you don't have to do anything. You stand there. I did let up a goal. I will say this right now. I did not have a clean sheet in the half against 6-year-olds. They did get one by me. That's a true story. And I wasn't trying to let them score. I wanted to pitch a shutout. But they got one by me, and I will admit it right now. But only one. Then I get out in the second half. You can't play goal the whole time. So I got out, and I actually had to go play like forward. And I had to run, and I had to run a lot.
Did you do one of those bicycle kicks over your head?
So, funnily enough, there was a ball that came down the middle, and if I had any athletic ability, I actually was set up perfectly. But what I did was I stuck my left foot up, and the ball hit off it and rolled down to our goal where they could end up actually scoring. But luckily, our keeper made a nice save. But it was a horrible play. I missed 2 pretty much wide open goals, like just wide open, and missed them both. Kicked them on the wrong side of my foot. Had no idea what I was doing out there. But when I got done, I was, and then breathing in the nasty. The wind was howling out there.
Yeah,
the irritants. I would say the irritants. I was very irritated, so I did not feel. I got home though. From that we went straight to swim class. We went home. We had dinner. We had Taylor's birthday celebration. Bro, by the time that was done, I got in bed like right when the Aztecs game started. Now, I made it the whole time. I watched the whole game. But I was laying there. I was like, dude, if that kicked your ass that much, you need to start running more. It was bad. We talked earlier in the week about being in shape and being healthy. I mean, Benny, I was sucking wind. I mean, I was hands on knees going after these kids, man. Turns out when you're 6, you have a lot of energy, and you can run circles around old 49-year-old ex-smokers, and it was a lot. So I was very tired.
Sounded like an epic battle.
It was a really good battle. I mean, we kicked the snot out of them.
Did you get orange slices afterwards or anything? No,
I could not have even gotten up to go get them. I took myself out with a couple minutes left to just get a little breather. But holy smokes, man, those kids were good.
Well, speaking of being in shape, staying inside all day, I did a really long Peloton ride, 20 miles, the longest I've ever done in one ride.
20 miles?
20 miles.
What the hell got into you?
I was like, I'm not going to go outside today, so might as well just get all my work done inside. How about that? 20 miles. I was impressed myself.
That's an impressive ride.
Yeah.
All right, so what's give me your stats on it. Give me time.
20 miles was about 900 calories burned.
That's a
It was an
pretty good
hour.
work.
It was an hour ride. So it was
hour.
20.17 miles with about 900 and something calories burned. I didn't go at an extremely intense pace for an hour.
Yeah.
But I was pretty impressed with myself.
Ralph wants to know, how does one's taint handle that?
Again, every few minutes, I'd get out of the saddle and, ride standing for a minute or two, and then I'd get back into the saddle. You also, if you sit back in the saddle, I have one of those gel pads as well that covers the seat, gives it a little more cushion. But at some point, the first 3 or 4 Peloton rides when I started 4 years ago, I was like, I'm never going to be able to do this.
The taint gets, the baunch
but
just gets all raw.
You do start adjusting just like with anything else. So.
Let me get a look at it. Do you have saddle sores?
No. But no, you're not getting a look at it.
I want to get it's for science purposes.
Woods was showing me his underarm.
A little ouchie.
Before the show.
Yeah, you have a little ouchie? Yeah, I have disgusting.
A little ouchie.
I realized that nobody's going to want to hear this, but that was for
is that for off the air? I didn't know there was a delineation with you between
I
can
hear on the air and off
I can hear
the air.
people already
retching
reaching to
you
turn
said
their,
reaching. I said retching.
that too.
Both.
Reaching to turn their radio.
I don't know. Like, you ever just look at your body sometimes and go, this isn't right. That doesn't look good. So I this morning was getting dressed for work, got out of the shower, had my towel on, was giving the looking at the face. I got a couple
once over.
Yeah, once over.
Giving yourself a once over.
So I'm looking. I got this zit up here. I'm like breaking out my nose. I got one. I'm like whatever. So I go to raise my arms to put my deodorant on, and I went, God! I was like, what in the world? It's repulsive, irritated skin tags, and I'm like, bro, what is happening to me? What is happening?
I don't think with anyone it's supposed to be the most appealing part of the body. It's underarm.
Well, you know what it's not supposed to look like? A leper. You're not supposed to look like a leper under there either. And
Raw hamburger meat.
Yeah, dude, yes, with hair on it. No, it's not supposed to look like ground chuck with hairs coming out of it, okay? So that's what it's not supposed to look like also. I'm not an Italian male model. I was under no illusions that it would be perfectly tanned and olive oil drenched. But I lifted it up and I went, that's not right. It's way too irritated. Skin tags and stuff. I was like, bro, and I just stare at myself in the morning. This is how I start my day, going, you're disgusting. You're a disgusting, disgusting man. You're just repulsive.
It was how you set it up to me and Ben before the show, though. You're like, do you guys have this too?
I was begging for you guys to have it.
And
Paulie,
I'm like thinking about it. I go, you're like, when's the last time you looked under your arms? I was like, I don't know, 45 minutes ago, and I put my deodorant on.
Paulie's is like all white and pristine, just smooth, like a baby's butt with a little hair in there. That's it. Not mine. Mine looks like a roadkill under each arm. It's disgusting. I'm disgusted.
But no one ever really has to see it. You can always just keep your arms down and, it's protected.
What if Hannah and I are making passionate love?
Just keep your arms down.
Yeah, it's true. I would never really be like, it's not a roller coaster. Believe you me. It's not a roller coaster. John A. said, man, this is an unexpected start to the show. I mean, yeah, John, when you tell your buddies something in confidence and they bring it to the air, you have to do it. I actually showed Ben mine, and the sweet guy that Ben is, he's like, it's not that bad. No, I'm telling you, it's that bad. It is that bad. So I don't know what to do. Do I now? Because here's what I'm thinking about doing. I'm thinking about when I get home today, taking the clippers that every parent has and going full bald underneath there, trimming it all, seeing what I'm working with, and then applying.
Start from scratch.
Clear the canvas, right? Empty the canvas.
The last thing you want is like razor burn
I know.
I
know, but I feel like I need to do something. And it's like I don't want to move around the hairs to do it. I think I should start fresh, right? And then just see what I'm working with. I'll send you guys a picture if I do it.
You don't have to.
No, that's the only reason I brought it up.
I'll believe you.
I was forced to look at it this morning, and I wasn't really like requesting that. I was not expecting that when I walked into work this morning.
All right. Squirrely says, I got some stuff on Amazon, burnt it off, worked great. Yeah, it was not, just didn't have a good start to the day. I wish I didn't notice this morning, but I did. And I just went, this is gnarly.
I'm surprised they didn't have an ad for something under the arms during the Aztecs game last night. I mean, we'll talk about basketball at some point. That may have been the weirdest set of commercials I've ever seen during a sporting event.
Did anyone order their men's steel pills? What is that for?
I was more concerned about the banks that are spying on us via our cash or something.
Have you ever taken out $20,000 in ones to buy a car? Did you know that could be flagged as suspicious activity? You know why? Because it is suspicious activity.
Oh, Canna said we can do it later. I don't want her working on. She likes stuff like that, but I don't really want her working on this undercarriage. You know what I mean? I just don't. I don't want her getting in there and getting her hands dirty, because I don't think she'll ever make love to me again. If she sees what I saw and what you saw, I don't think she's ever going to be attracted to me.
Maybe you need to go to a salon.
Maybe. Cole says Woods comes in tomorrow with feminine pads under his arms. Yeah, I don't know what to do, but I know it's disgusting, and I know that I'll be thinking about it for the rest of the day. And, man, if you can relate, if you have any tips, let me know. I did see somebody said wax and coconut oil after. Maybe I got on Google real quick and I did it, and it said it. This makes it worse. You ready for this?
I don't know that I am.
It said, I Googled this morning. Now, I will say it popped right up. Okay. Look, lots of skin tags under arms.
That just auto-filled.
I Googled it this morning.
God.
It says people who are overweight or obese are more likely to develop skin tags. Check this.
I got to work with younger people.
Check this. Because they have more skin folds that rub together. So I thought
how did you gain all the weight?
My underarm skin folds that are rubbing together.
How did you get all the skin tags?
How did you get all the skin tags? Well, it's because of my morbidly obese skin folds rubbing together. Petey says, how about a visit to a dermatologist?
My father-in-law's a dermatologist if you want me to set you up.
Well, the last time I went to a dermatologist, I had a little skin tag on my back. She said, I can take that off for you. I was like, oh, how much? She's like, that's like $600. I was like, yeah, never mind. I'll just wear it. Forget it. Yeah, I'm telling you right now, if I went in today, let's say they gave me a group discount. They said, to get all those off, we'll just charge you $100. It'd be $40,000 to get them off today, and I don't want to spend that on my underarms. So there you go.
I think it's time to pull the ripcord on foreplay and move on. So
well, listen, that was mine. I had to wear it in foreplay. You are going to have to wear it hard at 8. Hard. You have no idea what's coming.
Why would I have to wear it?
Woods and I got an email.
Yeah, we got an email.
And you ain't going to like it.
And you're not going to be happy. And
okay.
I'm sorry, but you honestly, you don't have a choice. And it sucks, but I want you to start mentally preparing right now. We'll tell you that at 8.
You have two options. Find out
then or now.
Like the day of?
Day of.
Or we're going to give you a heads up.
Give me the heads up then. 8 o'clock?
8 o'clock. You're going to be so mad at us.
We do have a fairly fun show today, including the skipper of the San Diego Padres, new contract extension in tow. We will set the menu for the program next. Maybe a little discussion of toe knuckle hair as well with Ben Woods.
I'm just going to sit like this.
Just air it out.
With my arms up all day.
Yes.
It's the folds are rubbing together.
The allergens could get under there, though, if you do that. That's a concern. Paul Reindl, Ben Higgins, Stephen Woods. We will be back after Kelly Danick's Traffic right here on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Hamul Casino. Fun above all else.
It was a love fest yesterday. You heard it here on 97.3 The Fan, the news conference with Mike Shildt, who is still here in San Diego, by the way, was at his office at Petco Park and has not returned to his home in North Carolina, has stayed around it's almost been a month, actually, since the Padres were eliminated from the postseason. Hard to believe, but he is still going through meetings. Will probably be here for another week or so. Then we'll go back to North Carolina for a while, go to the winter meetings, I'm sure. And before you know it, it'll be time to show up in Peoria for spring training. A.J. Preller, of course, was still at the GM meetings near San Antonio and joined everybody from his hotel room. You heard it right here. But a lot of kumbaya and alignment. A.J. saying, hey, found a really good partner that I can work with. Did a phenomenal job in his first season in the dugout as manager of the San Diego Padres. And yesterday was officially rewarded with a new 2-year contract extension that will run through the 2027 season. And we will talk with the manager of the San Diego Padres, Mike Shildt, at 9 o'clock this morning here on Ben and Wood. It's been a while. Good to have the skipper back on with us here in the morning.
I did not hear one single solitary second for multiple reasons. I knew we were going to have Shildt on today. I didn't want to cloud our interview with other people's questions. So I'm going to just play dumb.
Wouldn't that be reason 2
Yeah,
go to
Woods
the
thinks
press
a little
conference?
differently.
I do
but,
think a little differently.
Because
Yeah,
how do you know you are going to ask questions that weren't asked yesterday?
I don't care. That's what I'm saying is I don't care because I don't know who asked what. So I'm just going to ask what I want to ask. Does that make sense? There would be a thing in me if AJ Cassavell asked a question and he answered it, then I wouldn't ask it the next day.
but it might still be a good question to ask during the interview. So
Right.
I can see that.
Yeah. So I didn't want to be sullied. You know what I mean? I didn't want my experience today to be manipulated in any way. I also had to take my son out for his birthday lunch, so I missed it.
And you had to train for the grown-ups versus kids soccer game as
Long
well.
day, dude. Long day.
So that's kind of working backwards. We will finish the show in our final hour talking to Mike Shildt.
Are we playing any of the Preller? Because we don't have Preller on today.
That's true.
We don't
We have. I mean, there was a little bit of news.
Ray in the chat goes, quote, like I said yesterday. That would be one of his answers. I'm like,
Because if you were there yesterday,
well, I didn't listen yesterday, Mike. I'm sorry.
I couldn't have been bothered to be on your Zoom.
Ray, if he says that today, I'm going to give you $50. That would be the greatest bit of all time. Yeah, as I mentioned yesterday several times.
There was, a tiny bit of news dropping in that Mike said that he didn't want to take care of his own contract extension until his coaches were taken care of. Now, they have not announced anything when it comes to the coaching staff, but based on what Mike Shildt said, reading between the lines, you get the sense that, everyone's probably coming back and they're very close to getting those deals done. And AJ did, in fact, say probably within the next week we'll have more news, including on Ruben Niebla, the pitching coach, who, according to the UT, he's going to still be in the meetings and everything, even though he hasn't signed his contract. He's working as though he is still a member of the San Diego Padres coaching staff. So that could be the next news to drop going forward for the Padres.
Ruben's a better man than me. I'm not coming to meetings if I don't have a contract, right? You guys know that.
Leverage.
Yeah.
You're trying to hold on to leverage.
Of
You want
course.
me? Let's
get this thing
get
done.
this done. I'm not going to be working in case, we don't come to a mutual agreement.
What if I come in and I lay out all my entire plan? You guys say, hey, thanks for nothing. See you later. We're not going to renew you. And then I'm out on my ass and you have my whole plan. Forget it. You guys saw that episode of The Office. I'm not doing that. Let's get this deal done. I'll come in and we'll knock this stuff out. I'll get you everything I got.
So we will also be talking about the game you watched last night. All three of us did. The San Diego State season opener against UCSD. Last night at Viejas Arena, talked some college basketball. It was a win for the Aztec, 63-58, but another tough game against the crosstown rivals, who last year when they nearly lost, the talk was, okay, we're not doing that again. But then they did it again, and they nearly lost again to UCSD. So we'll talk about that coming up in our next segment. More from the general managers' meetings and what was going on yesterday in San Antonio in our 7 o'clock hour. We'll also play a Throwback Thursday game of Real or Fake with a chance to win, I believe, our last pair of Tom Segura contest tickets. Oh, no, we got Aztecs football tickets today.
Yes.
Aztecs football tickets to give away for tomorrow night's game at Snapdragon Stadium against New Mexico. Don't do this. And then coming up in our 8 o'clock hour.
You're dead at 8, so that's one thing.
Well, I don't know what that is.
Correct.
So I can't tease that. But
You're
I
dead.
can
You're
tell
dead.
you
You're
that
gonna
I
be
have
so mad.
I have come up with the bit we did last year from the offseason when Scott Boras went off with his puns.
Yeah.
I felt bad that not every agent is able to come up with puns for their free agent clients. Only Scott Boras. So Ben Boras is going to return with his set of puns for other free agents in baseball that aren't covered by Scott Boras.
I'm elated for this. And you were elated yesterday when we told you to do this. He wrote me back 10 minutes later. He goes, I'm done. And he goes, I have one for every position. And I go, that is absurdly fast. Absurdly.
I think there's no doubt that the Snelling salts have created a lot of whiffs. And the market has definitely awakened to Blake Snell.
Was someone snorting in the background?
Somebody was doing. You
There
can
are
see,
some,
you can't see that, but you can hear in his voice how he's like, "Oh boy, here we go! I'm about to unleash this one
All
on
I can
everybody."
tell
I'm
you
so glad you asked.
I'm so glad you
is
asked.
there are some good ones. There are some bad ones. and there are some ones that are so bad that they are good.
Yeah, correct.
Again.
Correct.
And we will unleash those upon you in our 8:30 segment this morning. It's a football threesome Thursday, so we'll have our NFL threesome coming up at 9:20.
Good game
Take a look
tonight.
at tonight's game. Yeah, pretty good one. Our picks of the week, our intriguing matchup. Ryan will report to finish things off, and that should be a pretty good show for a Throwback Thursday today, Woods.
Well, we'll see how your mood is after 8 o'clock. We'll see.
I really have no idea what's going on here. I thought I've kind of stayed under the radar for a little
This is a
while here.
curveball.
This is a curveball.
Okay.
I mean, look, it's out of our hands and it's out of your hands, but you're not going to be happy.
All right. Well, that's 8 o'clock, you said.
Yeah.
I just can live in dread for
Yeah.
the next,
Next hour and a half.
90 minutes
Yeah.
until we get there.
100%.
I am looking forward to talking a little college hoops, though. We'll discuss the Aztec season opener. Do that when we come back. It's Ben and Woods on a Thursday on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. College basketball is back in San Diego. Sold-out crowd last night at Viejas Arena, 12,414, including a good showing from the show. Paul used to be a member of the show.
Yeah.
Do you have to apply for membership, or is it just kind of inherent? If you're a student and you sit there,
and you go to the basketball games,
you were in the show
sit in the
then.
student section, you can be part of the show.
Always fun. It's kind of a nice crosstown rivalry that's starting to build up. My question is, should San Diego State keep playing this game? Because they keep coming very close to losing it, as they did again last night against UC San Diego. We'll talk a little college hoops after a check of traffic here on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danick.
Not too bad of a ride on our roads this time, guys. Just one crash to mention. 2-vehicle accident northbound 5 before the 163. It's over to the right shoulder. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben and Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Well, if you're watching last night, you saw a very Aztec-y start to the game. I think that's fair to say. A lot of defense, a lot of missed shots, not many points. And if anyone had bet the under of the game, they were feeling pretty good after the first, 15 minutes. When it was still,
we were, weren't we, Paulie?
Scores were still in
real
like
good,
the
real good.
teens for both teams
Yeah.
very early in the game.
I think they were on pace for about total in-game. I think they were on pace to score about 40 points. So, yeah, you're feeling pretty good. The other team as well, because the Aztecs do play ridiculously stifling defense. And Paulie made the point in our group text last night. Does Vegas forget about how good they are defensively, no matter who they have on the floor? Their brand of basketball is to play a choking, stifling, ridiculously tough defense. And every single year, you can ride the under for about 8 weeks if you bet on basketball, because it seems that they always forget just how good defensively the Aztecs
there's
are.
always the question: how long does it take to acclimate new players to a program,
Defense,
to get
though,
up to speed defensively?
Defense, it's not like offense where you got to get in a groove, man. Those guys are...
Well, yes and no. We've seen Dutch and before him, Coach Fisher, who we had on the show yesterday, not play guys for like a full year until they were competent enough defensively.
But if they're playing,
play.
You assume
they know what they're doing.
They know what they're doing, and God bless, they are impressive defensively.
What was a little bit different, all Aztecs teams are good defensively. There was shot blocking coming from all over the place yesterday, including newcomer Magoon Gawath, but also Miles Bird, who had 4 block shots as well in that game. And I think they were only credited overall with 8, but
there's no way.
Throw in another 8 that were completely altered.
Correct.
Because there was a hand. And the only reason it wasn't blocked is because they threw up an air ball instead of having it blocked, because there was no chance of getting the ball to the basket.
When I came in this morning, because I watched the game, I had my sound machine on, though. Hannah was asleep and I was in bed. So I'm just watching the game. I didn't really have any audio. And I go, what'd they have last night? About 20, 25 blocks? Ben goes, 8. I said, there's no way. The scorer must have missed 12 blocks, because seemingly every time UCSD had the ball, went up for a shot, it was contested, and somebody got a hand on it. It was really impressive.
But the offense definitely was scuffling along, especially in the first half. Early in the second half, turnovers were a problem. Kind of unforced errors, like stepping on the sideline a couple of times. Just a couple of thoughtless passes that turned into turnovers during the game. There was things that are, I think, correctable.
Well, there was like somebody had a rebound, brought it out, and then our own player ran into him and knocked the ball out of his hands, and that went out of bounds. And it was like, hey, man, same team here. Look, what I noticed right out of the chute was they were getting really good looks, and they were taking, in my opinion, what do I know? They were taking really good shots. How many?
In and out.
Yeah,
they had a few of those.
Rolling around the rim.
Yeah.
I mean, there was a dozen of those early where I went, all right, if that falls, if half of those early shots fell, bro, it was a laugher.
Yeah, we've seen plenty of San Diego State games where the threes just aren't falling, and that's why the other team sticks around for a while. That wasn't really the case last night. They shot okay from three-point range, over 40%.
They did.
Usually you play defense like that, you shoot over 40% from three.
44.
Aztecs are going to win by 20, 25 points,
36.
but they just weren't making the twos. The mid-ranges, getting it inside, they just could not get the ball into the basket consistently enough yesterday, and that kept UCSD in it. And then, they went on a nice little run in the second half. Tyler McGuy, who's one of the returning players,
He can shoot it.
I mean, he was like that with coverage draped on him. Hit a couple of big shots, was hot from 3-point range, and had UCSD with a 5-point lead coming down the stretch again. It wasn't the 14-point lead they had last year at Lion Tree Arena, but San Diego State was in trouble, potentially 0-1 and facing a loss that would be used against them, to come tournament time when they're, picking those seeds and go, hey, home loss, UCSD, not a good thing. So they had to find a way to pull it out. And I thought Brian Dutcher and his coaches did an outstanding job, especially in the second half. Couple of spots where they used timeouts, and then they came out of the timeout with a great play designed, leading to a slam dunk. All right, just buying 2 points with a timeout there. The defensive intensity, as good as I thought it was in the first half, they ramped it up. They had better legs than UCSD's players, and they wore them down. Finally, in the last, 7-8 minutes, you could see the Tritons had you spent it all, and San Diego State had another level to take their defense, and it really made a huge difference. There was a 12-0 run late in the game, went from down 5 to up 7, and then after that, they just kind of held their ground, and were able to pull out the win last night by 5 points.
You want to talk about players that make you want to tune in to a game, and Miles Byrd is that player. Miles Byrd was that player last year in limited time. I mean, of course, you had Jaden Ledee, who was must-see TV every time he took the court. And we talked last week maybe about, well, listen, they're not going to have this team really centered around one player. I'll tell you something, though. If you're going to go through anybody on that team, Miles Byrd is the guy that not only has the ability to do it, but has the want to. Like, he's the guy that's like, I want it. I want to lead this team. He is just, he's all confidence, man. He is fearless. He's fearless defensively. He played really good on defense. He dishes the ball, shoots really well. He is a stud. I love watching that guy play. I'll tell you who else I really like. It's Pharaoh Compton. He's another guy that, like, you look at and go, all right, first game, like, definitely stuff to build on. Wayne McKinney, too. Didn't get his first basket until the second half, but he looked really,
He'll
really
have a big
good.
game or two
Yeah,
somewhere.
he looked really good. They were a fun-ass team to
the
watch.
newcomer, Nick Boyd, got off to a good start at the beginning of the game. B.J. Davis had a couple of moments. He had that big exhibition game, closed door against UCLA, but you certainly see some potential in there. I thought that the guy everyone was talking about, though, was Magoon Guath early. Yeah. And defensively, it seemed like the first 5 times down the court. They're like block.
I was like, oh, this would be fun.
Offensively, there's definitely some room for improvement.
Sure. Had a little indecision.
Couple of awkward travels.
Yeah.
Like, hey, you do need to pivot and use, dribble the ball when you're going to go from the top.
Or just shoot it. Just shoot it when you're open. You got to look. Yeah, like a little indecisive. He did. Hit a 3.
He's got some shooting touch, especially for a guy who's 7 feet tall.
Right. He went to my rival high school. I went to Grapevine High School. He went to Trinity High School. I mean, we're talking like rivals. Now, many, many years separate myself and Magoon Guath. But, from Euless, Texas. We used to call it Useless, Texas.
Burn!
Yeah, sickest burn, bro. Useless. Oh, you're from Useless? Got him real good. No, man, look, like I said, like, they got good looks. They made good shots. A lot of them just, I can't say the word that I want to say. You know what word I'm saying?
I know
just,
exactly.
round the rim. All bunch. It happened a bunch. In and out. Took a couple of they chucked a couple of ugly looking shots as well, but the defense, it just doesn't sleep at San Diego State. It just doesn't sleep.
I texted you guys and said this team is athletic AF. They are going to be super fun to watch.
Yes.
But with that young athleticism, like crazy athleticism, I've seen it before where that can also be frustrating at times to watch, where you get a little overzealous, a little too overconfident in your own like freakishly athletic abilities. I think of like Russell Westbrook in the NBA. You would see that all the time where he was so much more athletic than anybody else on the court that he like put it into a sixth gear that he didn't quite have honed in yet. Well, and we saw a little bit of that yesterday from this Aztec team, and then they figured it out when they needed to at the end.
And won the game. Won by what, 5?
5, yeah. UCSD hit a late 3.
I mean, I'm all in. If it's opening night and it's my kid's birthday, and I played soccer that day, and I stay up for the whole game, I was all the way on board. I really, really, really like these guys and what Dutch has brought in. And, man, it's
I bought tickets to a future game last night.
You,
I'm seeing them in Vegas in a couple of weeks in the Players Era tournament, and I go, I need to get back to Viejas. And it's tough when they play like Tuesday and Wednesday games at 7:30, but then with television, it becomes an 8:15 tip-off. I'm like, I can't do that. That's a long drive.
Yeah, Ben
Traffic.
emailed PR and got asked for free tickets last night, too. So he's all
I
in
haven't
as
been
well.
to a game in a couple of seasons. I do need to get back at some point. It is a lot of fun. I like watching them on TV, though.
I do, too.
It's
Well, your views, it's a different experience.
yeah,
on your view.
it's always tough because the games are usually at like 7 or 7:30 on weeknights, and either I'm at work or if I'm not, it's like, okay, if I go down there, it's tough to get out of that parking garage at 9:30 at night after the game is over. But
They did not cover. Jeter wants to know. It was spread was 10.5, but the under hit, and the under will probably hit again when they play Occidental.
And I would predict that ultimately that'll end up being a pretty decent, like a quad 2 win. I think UCSD will be in the metrics and around,
They were good last year.
75 to 100. I think they're going to be one of the top teams in the Big West. Maybe even, if everything breaks right, could make the NCAA tournament. In their first year of eligibility as a Division I program, it'll be them or UC Irvine, I think, at the top of that conference. So that won't look like a bad win, even though it was close and home. Ultimately, that'll be fine. But now things are going to get tough. They get an easy game on Tuesday against Occidental. That's just Division III. Get a chance for some of the bench warmers to play, and you'll win that one by 30 or 40. But then the schedule gets gnarly. Gonzaga, who is coming off a easy win over 8th-ranked Baylor in their first game, is going to be
35-point win
at Viejas Arena. That obviously will be an incredibly tough test. And then you go to the tournament that Paulie's going to be at over Thanksgiving week in Las Vegas. First game is against Creighton.
That's what we're going to.
Kalkbrenner, their center, scored 49.
Who?
Kalkbrenner.
His name is Kalk?
Kalkbrenner. No, his last name is
Oh,
Kalkbrenner.
I thought his name was, parents named him Kalk.
No.
Kalkbrenner.
Kalkbrenner.
I feel like he's been there for 6 years.
Yeah,
one of those
Ryan
guys.
Kalkbrenner, 49 points. Now, they weren't playing anybody, but they are a very good team. He was 20 of 22 from the field yesterday. So he'll be
You know how hard it is to score 49 points in a college,
basketball game in
It's
40
insane.
minutes. So
You
that's
do not see 50-point games very often.
And then they'll have Oregon and then another good team still to be determined at that tournament.
So in that tournament, give me the lowdown. It's not one and done.
So they changed the format.
they
It's
recently changed it.
So they're definitely playing Creighton and Oregon
Okay.
kind of in their pool. And then depending on how they do in those games, win-loss and point differential, they'll have either a championship or like a third-place game on Saturday against one of the other
There's 8
six
teams.
teams
They
that are
split
there.
it into
Yeah.
2 pools,
Okay.
like the players champion and the champions bracket
It's
or whatever.
complicated. but-
And then, so you're going to play 2 games. You play a championship-esque type game in your third game against your pool, and then the winner of each pools will play, I think, on that Saturday in Vegas for the championship.
Yeah, they'll all be highly
playing
rated
for-
metric games, but you'd like to win at least, hopefully 1 or 2 of them.
And each school gets, just for participating,
Get
I
like
think,
a milli?
gets NIL money, and then if you win, you get a little more.
Not a little more. If you win, if you participate, they get $1 million, and if you win, you get another $1 million
They whack
for
it
your
up.
players.
Oh,
Yeah,
So sick.
So divide that by 12, 13?
yeah, it's not bad.
not bad.
It's not a bad payday. There's going to be a lot of motivation for the players to do well in the players era.
And that's during
tournament.
Thanksgiving week?
Thanksgiving
I
week.
can't
Yeah.
wait. That's this is the thing about college basketball. I'm all in. Like you can tell, I'm dialed in. That's why I love baseball. Great game last night. We get to do it again tonight. Now I got to sit and wait till when? When's the next game?
Tuesday.
Oh my god.
And that's not. I mean, it'll be another Channel 4 Division III opponent.
It's a slow start to the season.
Yeah, and then it heats
Once
up.
it gets going, then you got at least 2 games every week.
That's true.
and-
That's true. No, it was great, man. Loved seeing it. I just like what I saw last night. I mean, again, the shooting is one thing, but that's not atypical, right? To get in your groove, to move the ball around. They moved the ball around really, really well. They moved it well. They had good looks. Some of them just didn't fall early and rattled in and out, but man, the defense just continues to impress me every single year. It just was stifling. And then Magoon, there, you can't, like, one guy tried to take him to the rack, and Magoon was like, bro, come on. Like, there's no way. He's such a
He was almost waiting for them.
He's
like,
waiting.
Just, come on. Go ahead. Try
So
to get it
good.
past me. It does feel like one of those teams. Like last year, give it to Jaden Ledee.
Yeah.
Let him do his thing.
Let him do his thing.
This year, it feels like every game they're going to have to figure out, all right, who's the hot hand, and
That's fun.
Even the players are going to go. Like one day it'll be Wayne McKinney III. One day it'll be B.J. Davis.
Yeah.
It'll probably be Miles Byrd a bunch, but they'll have to figure out who it is and like start feeding that guy. It's not going to be just the same guy every night. It'll probably bounce around a little bit. The scoring leader each game.
It did feel like in the last couple of minutes there, when it was a tight game and you needed to get a bucket, like after a defensive stop, it felt like Miles Byrd was the guy that maybe just naturally was trying to take over and trying to hit that big three. But yeah, you're absolutely right. It can be one of 6 or 7 guys on any given night.
I had 0 butterflies about them winning that game. 0.
Yeah, even with what was the halftime score? They're up 1.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
and
I'm
even
like, they played pretty dominant for 18 of 20 minutes in the first half, and then they went on UCSD went on a 12-0 run.
12-0 run. Yeah, I mean, those are going to happen. And then you countered. You had a 10-0 run and held them to an 0 for 12 at the same time because you have that defensive ability. You can always fall back on. Hey, when we need to ratchet up our defense, we can, and they did. And I know that the way that we watch basketball now has certainly changed. We like big, splashy offenses and things like that, but it's a throwback, man. It's a throwback, and watching them play D is really a thing of beauty.
And Bird ultimately finished with a career-high 20 points to go with those 4 blocks.
Love him.
It seems like he is the guy who's going to take a step up, challenge for an all-conference kind of selection later in the year. Obviously, a long way to go, and you got to have some consistency as well, but he definitely looked like his game has been taken to another level.
He's a confident dude, and you have to have that, man.
Bordering on cocky, but
here he goes again. You said this about Jackson Merrill last year. Remember when we were?
This is Jackson Merrill.
Remember when we were at spring training? We were doing all of our interviews. And we met Jackson, and Bo. You would.
Are you telling me you weren't worried that Miles Byrd was going to draw a technical for hanging on the rim a couple times? I was slightly worried about it.
He did this to Jackson Merrill. He's like, we sat down with like Manny after Jackson Merrill, and Ben's like, so this Jackson Merrill kid, he's a cocky SOB, huh? I'm like, no, he's just confident. It's confident. You want that.
Yeah.
Like, you can't play high-level athletics
Well, you
without
certainly
it.
don't want to not have any confidence, and you need some of it
Correct.
for sure.
You got to have it. He's really good. He is an asses in the seats guy, right? He is, where is Bird? My eyes need to find him because he's going to make something happen both sides of the ball. A lot of fun.
We'll come back. Some news from the GM meetings, including a couple of significant position changes in Major League Baseball.
Yeah, let's talk about
that
this.
that were kind of announced yesterday. So we'll get into that and play a Throwback Thursday game of Real or Fake. Chance to win some San Diego State football tickets for tomorrow night's game at New Mexico. That is all coming up next. Hour number 2 of Ben and Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Well, fresh off their World Championship, the Dodgers are going down that road again and not waiting any time into the offseason to announce yesterday, Woods, that Mookie Betts will be moving back to the infield in 2025. That he is,
Why?
after bouncing around and ending up in the outfield last year.
He played so well in right field.
He will be either at shortstop or second base.
Okay, so
this coming season. I don't totally get it. I thought maybe you'd have a little more insight onto why the Dodgers are so determined to get Mookie Betts into the infield.
Right fielders on the
Well,
market?
there is one really he's not a good right fielder, but he's a good player, and his name is Juan Soto.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the only thing I can think of is that they are going to go guns blazing.
Well, sure, if
for
you
him.
sign Juan Soto, then you have a conversation with Mookie Betts about moving. But why do you, before free agency has even really started, you've already announced, oh, no, he's definitely going back to the infield next season? I mean, you don't know that you're getting Teoscar Hernandez back.
Well, because you can money whip Juan Soto, who wants them to make the most
But
money.
you could also do that with Willie Adames. I mean, you can pick up middle infielders as well.
Well,
today they're going to say, yeah, we're looking at a rotation of Yamamoto, Glasnow, Sasaki. Like, they're just going to speak everything into existence.
It was an odd move.
They say Brandon Gomes, who is their general manager, the guy that you really have never heard of because everyone talks about Andrew Friedman, but they actually have a GM. Did you know that? His name is Brandon Gomes.
He used to be a player. He was a Red Sox.
He is. He says that the toll on the body is less in the infield for him, which I don't understand. I feel like the toll on the body in the infield ultimately is going to be harder than the outfield. Yes, you have to do some sprinting in the outfield, so maybe it's a little harder on the knees, but there's way more diving in the infield. And I've got to think that that's ultimately over 162 games, that's the hardest thing on a body, is the constantly diving to your left and right. I mean, watch Jake Cronenworth out there playing second base, and even the balls you don't get to, you kind of have to make that attempt and dive, to your right to stop them, knock them down, even if you don't make the play constantly throughout the game. You can play right field and go 7 innings and the ball's not even hit to you in the outfield. How is it possible that the toll on the body in the infield is less than the outfield?
So the for him means something there. Brandon says it's less toll on the body for him. Maybe second base is a better option for Mookie Betts than shortstop is a really physically and, by the way, a really mentally draining position. Like you got to be dialed. Not that you don't when you're a big league right fielder. You do. But like you said, Benny, I mean, there's guys that come up. They're not going over there. They're not going to right field. Like you get a few chances a game. And he plays a really good right field. He played a really excellent right field in the playoffs. I mean, phenomenal, actually. This makes no sense to me at all. When you have Gavin Lux, who is your second baseman, and then you re-upped Miguel Rojas. Now, Miguel Rojas is an older guy. He's a bench piece.
$5 million, yeah.
Yeah, you re-upped him.
Utility guy, essentially.
I don't. You're clearing
and Tommy Edman, though, yeah.
Oh God, yes, you have Tommy Edman. You're clearing a spot for a big outfielder, I guess. That's my only thought is that,
Again, you don't have to do that today, though. This is clear. I think Mookie is driving this. He
maybe.
Just wants to play infield. And when you have a superstar that makes his wishes known, you have to generally, bow down to those wishes.
Well, and I think, people are saying he's probably going to go to second because they'll trade Gavin Lux. And I think Gavin Lux is a tradable piece. I think that's a guy that another team would want. And so maybe that's it. Just making Mookie happy. It just doesn't.
We talk about it.
Doesn't feel like Mookie Betts, right?
We've talked about it a ton with Fernando and not wanting to move him back to shortstop because of the toll it takes on your body. Is it possible that it's just different play styles, or it can have a different effect on different guys?
I mean, I think second. We say second's probably easier than short, but like you mentioned, Jake Cronenworth, that dude is banged up and filthy after every single game he plays at second base. It's not like you're not diving around and making throws and everything else. I don't know. It doesn't make any sense to me. But they are typically one step ahead of everybody else. They've got a plan in place, and they stick to their plan.
I know they are, but this certainly feels like if the Padres were doing it, it's something that's going to backfire and bite them in the butt. Like, oh, let's move our superstars back from the infield to the outfield, to the infield to the outfield, and everyone would go, you gotta stick with one position. You're not doing this right. You're not operating your organization well. No one ever says that about the Dodgers. When the Dodgers do it, it's creative and it's flexibility.
Brilliant.
They do all these things so well. And when other teams do it, it's like, you don't know baseball, you don't know what you're doing. It's a double standard.
From my recollection, it didn't go well when Mookie was in the infield last year. I know he worked. So the other thing, too, is like I read last year, oh, my God, they made the biggest deal out of it. Oh, Mookie's out an hour early getting grounders at short. Isn't that like extra toll on the body? You know, like he's out there grinding hard to be the best middle infielder that he can be when he's really a Gold Glove right fielder. I don't know.
I mean, just moving back and forth from second to short seemed like it took a toll on Xander Bogaerts.
No doubt.
And that's just both middle infield positions, not asking him to go to the outfield. So we'll see how this plays out for the LA Dodgers.
I'm sure it'll be fine and great.
Now, there was another position change that was announced that does make, I think, a lot of sense. We'll get to that. First, we need a contestant for real or fake. If you want to call in now, get on the line, 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. Chance to win tickets to tomorrow night's Aztecs New Mexico game at Snapdragon Stadium. Maybe you can take some of the sand from the field home with you tomorrow night.
Yeah.
833-288-0973. The St. Louis Cardinals, who apparently are in rebuilding mode. Based on the reports, the guys that are available in trade, like Ryan Helsley is available in trade. Nolan Arenado is available in trade. They are rebuilding, but they are keeping Wilson Contreras. They're just not going to have him catch anymore.
Yeah,
he's going to move him to first base. He is done catching. Now, undoubtedly, catching takes a bigger toll than first base, like massively bigger toll, and they want to keep his bat in the lineup for more games. I think it does make a lot of sense here for the Cardinals to try to maximize his bat and keep him on the field more often.
He was the victim of the bat to the wrist scene a couple times in his career, and I think for him, a talented guy, that's what he's going to do. He's going to play first base and DH, and he's going to rotate between those. They've already made that decision, and they have some young catchers too, Ivan Herrera and Pedro Pajes that are good as well. That
Is he related to Andy from the Dodgers? I don't even know.
Could be, but yeah, the medical team. Mo Zalak said our medical team recommended the move in terms of if he really wants to extend his career, they think that would be best for him, and it's great. Said it from a defensive standpoint, it creates an opportunity for those two different players. So I would say it's very unlikely to see him behind the plate again.
Now, is Brandon Gomes, the Dodgers general manager, related to Johnny Gomes? Because our boss
that's
Adam,
who I was thinking of.
Yeah, that's what our boss Adam
Johnny
texted.
Gomes.
He thinks that you're thinking of Johnny Gomes, who played for the Red Sox. Brandon Gomes is a former big leaguer, too. He played for the Rays. Adam says, I don't think that's who Woods thought he
I was
meant.
thinking of that dirtbag bearded Johnny Gomes, which I thought would be an odd pick for a GM. Yeah, Brandon Gomes.
Brandon Gomes.
My bad.
Don't know as much about him. Former professional baseball pitcher and current baseball executive.
Okay. Oh, he's a pitcher.
Apparently. So, yeah, he's the guy that no one talks about with the LA Dodgers.
Yeah, because it's Friedman.
Yeah. All right, we got some callers on the line. Let's get to it. It's time to play a Throwback Thursday edition of Real or Fake.
Some are here for the compelling sports talk with Ben and Woods. You can go plow through another donut. It's time for Real or Fake on 97.3 The Fan. Tell the people what they'll win today.
Aztecs football tickets, your chance to win today. Game against New Mexico tomorrow night at Snapdragon Stadium. And let's try line 4 today. Is this Scott?
Yeah, hello?
Hello, Scott. How are you?
Good morning. How are you guys?
All right, you're in luck. You're our contestant today on Real or Fake. Here's how our game works. I've got today's category. If you can separate the real from fake 4 out of 7 times, you will win the Aztecs tickets. And Woods is here to help. And now that Woods is into college basketball, this should be an easy one for everybody involved. Today's game is simple. I will give you a name. You tell me if it is a real college or university with a Division I men's basketball team.
Oh, okay.
Now, there are over 300
That's true.
Division I teams. I've also made up a few that I've thrown in there that are not real. So all you have to do is separate the real from the fake. Scott, you ready to play?
Yes, sir.
All right, let's go. Let's go round one. Hampton University, real or fake? Hampton University.
Let's go real.
Is he going to go real?
Yeah, I'd say real.
Yep.
Yep.
Pirates from the Coastal Conference. That is real, and that is 1 point for Scott. All right, let's go to round number two. The University of New Orleans. Real or fake, Scott? The University of New Orleans.
Woodsy, what do you think?
I swear I want to say I've seen them in the tournament. I'll say real.
He says real, Scott.
All right, I trust you, Woodsy. Let's go real.
Nice.
Yeah, buddy. Were they in the tournament ever?
I think they were. The Privateers from the Southland Conference. All right, you guys are on fire here.
Stay hot.
Going for the clean sweep. Let's go round number three. Let's try Stonehill College. Real or fake? Stonehill College.
I'm gonna have to go. I'll go fake on that one.
Yeah, I'll go fake.
I had never heard of this one. It is real. The Skyhawks of the Northeast Conference. All right, that's all right. One miss is not a problem. Let's go round number four. Westgate University. Real or fake? Westgate University.
Does he go 4 in a row real?
There's
or-
no. I think he's got to go a fake,
Fake
and I think Westgate. Wasn't that the name of a cult? Let's go fake.
All right, we'll go fake.
Yeah, we will.
That is fake.
Yes.
Very good.
All right, buddy.
You are
One
one
more.
away from the win here. Let's try round five. Queen's University. Real or fake? Queen's University.
Huh. What do you think, Woods?
God, this feels like such a trick question.
They're all trick questions. That's
Fair.
the point of the game.
Let's say real.
We'll go real.
You will.
Yeah.
You'd be right.
Yeah,
Queen's
buddy!
University, the Royals of the A-Sun Conference. And that's a win, Scott. Very good. Stay on the line. Paul will get your information.
Freddie Mercury's alma mater.
And
says Jay.
we will send you those tickets for San Diego State football. University of Pensacola.
Fake.
Fake. Very good. Northern Pennsylvania University.
Real.
Fake. Not bad. Good job, guys. Today, a winning game of real or fake
That makes me happy.
with Scott and Woods.
Congrats, Scotty.
Don't Do This is coming up next. Do you have anything for Don't Do This here, Woods?
Oh, I'm sure I can dig something up, Ben.
I do have a member of the Detroit Lions who is apologizing today. We always get to the Don't Do This after we've already gotten to the apology for whatever they did.
It's true.
Over the weekend. It actually brings more attention to what you did when you have to apologize for it. We'll get to that coming up next on San Diego's #1 sports station after Kelly's Traffic here on 97.3 The Fan.
Hamul Casino. Fun above all else.
All right, a little Throwback Thursday, Don't Do This Today. And I'm going to start in the NFL woods with Brian Branch, who is apologizing for, well, he was ejected during the Lions' win over the Green Bay Packers on Sunday after a hit on Packers receiver Bo Melton. And then as he was exiting the field, Branch decided to throw up the birds, the middle fingers to the crowd at Lambeau. He was frustrated, but also got an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty for that. He apologized for the flipping of the double birds to the Green Bay crowd, said he agreed with the referee's call. Quote, "That's not something I want to show or want people to notice me as that. That was just the heat of the moment, and I apologize to everyone who sees that. It won't happen again." My question to you, should we be offended at someone throwing a middle finger up?
No.
I mean, it's only because we have collectively decided that that's a rude gesture, that it is a rude gesture.
Yeah.
I mean, we have lots of fingers, and you can throw any of them up and mean whatever you want. But we've decided that
if I use my ring finger, is that really?
Oh, no one can even tell the difference. It looks kind of the same. It looks very similar, right, a ring finger up to a middle finger.
My question to you is, have you ever given anyone the middle finger?
I'm not, because, I'm
What?
I'm a nice.
You're better than us?
Well-behaved person.
I think that's what you were getting
But
at.
I don't know why. Why should it be such a big deal?
Well, if it's not such a big deal, why haven't you ever done it?
I don't know.
Nobody's ever
have to
made you
think
that
about
mad? Have you ever done the thing? So you've never done the thing where, like, you get in an argument with somebody, they walk away, and you're like, oh.
I did something I almost never do yesterday.
Oh, God, what?
I honked at another driver.
Oh, my.
Whoa.
God. Was it like a boop?
No,
you.
It was like, dun, 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 dun.
Whoa.
So, I'm on
Settle down.
El Camino Real. It's
Yeah.
not busy. There's only.
When is it not busy?
It really well. This is the stretch, like, as you're going toward the on ramp Manchester,
yeah,
where
okay.
there's like 3 lanes and there's plenty of room.
Plenty of room.
So I'm coming up and there's a light and it's red, but it's way off in the distance. And there's I'm in the right lane and then there's cars both waiting at the red light. Turns green. I'm still like 500-600 yards away. The car in the lane to the left of me goes, but the car in my lane doesn't go. Just sitting there at the green, like, okay. And I'm not really slowing down because I'm thinking he's gonna go. It's green, right?
He's on his phone.
He's at some point he's gonna go. I've got a lot of room,
Yep.
so it's like I'm not gonna just all of a sudden slam on my brakes, but still doesn't go. Finally, I have to hit my brakes and stop at a green light behind this car. So I kind of hit the horn gently, like, beep, come on, go. Still doesn't go. So now at this point, I'm like, okay, beep, beep, beep. It's
Whoa.
green. It's been green for about 15 seconds, and you're still sitting there
He's
at the
gonna
light.
kill somebody.
This is dangerous.
Yeah,
the car behind me slams on their brakes because
God.
they think, why isn't it's green? Why isn't everybody going? So I actually did hit the horn a couple of times, but I didn't. And then I went around him to the left because then he was driving really slow.
Feel bad after?
I thought about the middle finger.
That would have been the perfect time. Hey, wake up!
I didn't break it out, but now I feel like maybe I should have.
Give me one right now. Bird me. Yes. Was that on camera?
No.
Do it on camera. You look at him. Such a softie. You are such a.
I just know
says
that
Ben's
you
going
will.
to hell.
You will
Send
hold.
Ben to
You will
anger
hold
management.
those screenshots of me for the rest of my life.
All right, here, do it
I don't
again.
really want
Do
that
it again real quick.
screenshot. No, I
Come on,
don't.
give it to me
I don't
real
want
quick.
that screenshot.
You're not
Out there.
fun.
You
I
are
don't feel bad for what's happening.
You
to
have
you
plenty
now
of
at 8
great
o'clock.
screenshots of me already.
Yeah, I don't feel bad about what's coming at 8. I was going to, but now I don't because he won't give the
Not even a little
audience.
bit.
He won't give the audience the middle finger. You have another don't do
Yeah, I'll
this?
throw this one. I could have made this either side, but I'll give a don't do this to the basketball fans who continue to harp on the fact that Jason Tatum didn't get to play much in the Olympics, that he got benched by Steve Kerr, and they just keep going. They want him to react. They want this to be a story. They want Jason Tatum. They played the Warriors yesterday. They want him to be offended and take revenge on Steve Kerr,
your beloved,
because he didn't play him enough during the Olympics. By the way, the team that won the Olympics, gold medal.
Yes,
obviously he did something right.
He knew what he was doing.
And Jason Tatum, I think this is good. This is the do this part. He said basically, stop telling me how to react. People want me to be louder. People want me to be meaner. Whatever. One thing about Jason, referring to himself in the third person, I'm always going to do what the F I want to do. And he's not going to be pressured into a narrative that other people want to create for him, that this is some motivating factor for him. This is a revenge tour showing everybody in the league that he deserved to play more during the Olympics. He's not going down that road, even though fans and media members would like to see that from him, make that a thing. He's not making it a thing. Now,
how'd he do?
Not well. They lost to the Warriors, who are now 7-1, by the way.
Shocking.
Good job. That's a shocking record for Golden State, a team we all thought was on the decline. They lose Klay Thompson, off to a really good start so far this season. Just the second loss of the season for the Boston Celtics.
And I have taken over do this.
DD mega doo-doo.
After yesterday's do this, had to make an executive presidential decision when Ben talked all about Kirk Herbstreit's cancer-ridden dog.
So I'm in do this timeout.
Yeah, you're in. I mean, I may pull your credentials for it forever.
I still can't believe it.
I thought about it all day, about how it's a positive story, but Ben said, yeah, his dog is ravaged with cancer. Probably won't make it.
Read you all of the details.
I'll read you everything. He probably won't make it through the weekend. And on what planet is that a positive story? Now this is a positive.
A lot of people love the dog.
That's right,
I
which
thought
is
that
great.
was positive.
But You were telling us about all of his maladies and arthritis,
Just reading
cancer.
Kurt's tweet about all the maladies.
Well, anyway, I'm taking over. This is what the segment's for right here. You guys may remember Seth Erskines. Also goes by DeFlo. Seth DeFlo Erskines. Now, we played this clip for you before the season started. You'll remember this guy.
This is our Colts. This is our team. We bleed blue. This is our Colts. Whether win or lose, we love them. For the shoe, beat the Cardinals. Let's stop them on their big red wings. This is our team. Go Colts! Yeah!
Fantastic. And he does it for every opponent. And, well, listen, some people have taken notice. They love his commitment. They love his imagination. And he has been...
Not some people. The Colts.
The Colts. They have decided to get him a very special early holiday gift. Tickets to the Super Bowl. Now, he's not, I could say pretty with certainty, he's not going to be seeing his beloved Colts in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I don't think so.
That being said, they love what he's doing. They said, we want to make sure you get to the Super Bowl, Mr. DeFlo. And they have hooked him up, man. So
the Colts invited him to the team facilities and just said, hey, we wanted to do some social media stuff with you. Like, here's a green screen. We're going to take some shots, film some clips with this social media superstar. And so he's like, all right, this is awesome. And then guys walk in with two, the giant checks or whatever.
The fake tickets.
The giant fake cardboard Super Bowl tickets. And he has been named the Colts super fan or fan of the year or whatever promotion they were running, and they surprised him on the set at their facilities with 2 tickets to the Super Bowl.
Very cool move from the Colts. Very classy move as well. He said, this has been a pretty wild, fun ride. All the cool stuff I'm taking in already. I like his it's funny, man, because we have people in our community that do raps and bits and stuff, and I don't look at the same. I look at those guys as curses. Many of them. This I don't look like. I think this is just a sweet fan that is like, I love this team. I'm not. He never. He did say we're going to stomp them on their big red wings, right? So he was kind of taking a shot at the Cardinals, but I don't know. There's a different vibe. I get filled with rage when I see like some of the rappers in our Padres community. I'm like, you're a jinx.
That's what's in.
Yeah, that's a jinx to me. This is just a sweet guy.
That's what's indie right now.
This is just a sweet guy that loves his team, and he's been rewarded and gets to go to the Super Bowl in New Orleans. He's going to have a great time.
And maybe it's just his tone.
Yeah, maybe.
But it sounds more positive.
More positive, sweeter.
Now, how do we get super fan Super Bowl tickets without actually being super fans?
I don't really want to go.
I've never really had the giant desire. I think it's in New Orleans this year,
New
right?
Orleans.
I want to go to New Orleans.
You've never
been? I've never been to New Orleans.
All right, so you know how we're going to Philly as our show trip this year in 2026.
Show trip,
Now,
New Orleans?
I realize there's no baseball there, but we can go catch a Pelicans game.
I like it.
And watching this dude suck down jambalaya and po' boys.
Etouffee.
I mean,
gumbo.
It's, first of all,
Filletas.
It's phenomenal. Like, the food there is ridiculous, but watching him, and you know how much he loves sausage and andouille sausage.
Andouille.
Paulie, he'll just gorge himself the whole time. It'll be great.
I'm in.
I'm so in. Have you been to New Orleans before?
No. I was going to go, and then COVID was still going on. The trip got canceled.
Ray makes a good point. He goes, I mean, the Colts do look cursed. That's fair. That's actually a fair point. But they looked at him and said, you're something positive in our community.
It's not like the Colts are failing to meet expectations.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true. They're not failing to meet
cursed
expectations.
way before this guy came out.
Spencer beignets. Oh, chicory coffee. Bro, it's such a... Man, like, it's wild. Pat O'Brien's, Hurricanes at Pat O'Brien's.
See, now I don't really need to do the old... Mardi
I don't want to go to Mardi Gras.
Gras.
Bro, we're
thing.
too old for Mardi Gras.
Yeah, I want to do a more tame version of New Orleans.
Well, we will. We'll do an eating and a basketball tour.
Hooter Research. Commander's Palace, Brennan's.
You'll still catch some Hooter Research there, though. It's wild. I mean, it's a wild town, and it's so much cool history and the voodoo stuff, all of that. Like, it's just rad. It's a rad place to go. So how about that? And I think we could do it relatively inexpensive. So next year, 26, we will do it.
It's planned.
It's planned.
And that's a completely
got to find Pelicans
sick
tickets
dog-free
somehow.
version of Don't and Do This for a Thursday.
That was Don't Do This with Ben and Woods on 97.3 The Fan.
Drew said it would be so hilarious to look back at someone blaring the horn at you, and it's Ben Higgins. That would make my week. Mine too, actually.
I mean, what? F you! If you're thinking, what must have I done wrong to make this man mad at me?
Yeah.
I really must reevaluate my life.
I honk a lot less than I used to. Only if somebody's weaving into my lane. I'm way more patient in the car now. When you have kids, you kind of have to be. You know?
True.
It happens. Oh, I'm so excited for 8.
First, there's 7:35, though. And more takeaways from yesterday's A.J. Preller, Mike Shildt news conference, including payroll talk.
I haven't heard any, and I'd like to hear some.
Payroll talk, and we can play some of the audio as well. Of course, we've got Mike Shildt coming up at 9 o'clock this morning, but where the Padres stand right now, I had a couple of clues yesterday, and we'll bring those to you next here on 97.3 The Fan. I remember when 2 weeks ago, A.J. Preller said, I'll know more in 2 weeks on the payroll.
Yeah, everyone's following their word these days.
And he didn't really say that he knows more on the payroll yet. Said those decisions have yet to be made by Eric Katsenda and Eric Grupner, but they're starting to get an idea of what it's going to look like. And there were some context clues as well yesterday. We will talk a little bit more about what came out during yesterday's Mike Shildt contract extension news conference with he and A.J. Preller right after a check of traffic here on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danick.
Well, guys, just a couple things to mention here. One of them is this crash on northbound 15 right around Friars Road. No details as to whether that's blocking lanes. And a crash in the East County westbound 8 just before Greenfield Drive. Couple vehicles blocking the fast lane. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
This segment of Ben Woods is brought to you by Buffalo Wild Wings. Buffalo Wild Wings is football. Hey, San Diego sports fans, head to your local Buffalo Wild Wings and try their new maple chipotle sauce for rich maple sweetness and a mild smoky chipotle heat. Or for a bit of kick, check out the new Cajun sauce for a rich blend of spicy and tangy pepper sauces. Stop by our San Diego B-Dubs or order now for takeout and delivery with Buffalo Wild Wings. Go. So, it was brought up a little bit, Who is coming back? Who are you going to try to re-sign? And it's hard to know exactly where the Padres stand until you know what the payroll is going to look like for next season. And according to, here's a passage from the UT's piece on yesterday's news conference. Based on current contracts and projected salaries for arbitration-eligible players, Padres' payroll commitment for 2025 already exceeds $200 million. They're also projected to be pushing up against the competitive balance tax threshold. Those totals do not account for adding at least one starting pitcher and either re-signing or replacing free agent left fielder Jurickson Profar, among other necessary additions.
But you missed the most important part, maybe. There are a team CBT payroll is not calculated until the end of the season. There are numerous avenues for the Padres to lower that number, which they anticipate
and I do
doing.
Want to discuss what that potentially means, because I think that's probably the most significant line in that whole piece. But first, let's get some sound from Mike Shildt and A.J. Preller talking about those free agents like Profar, Ha-Sung Kim, Kyle Higashioka, and kind of the more financial elements of yesterday's discussion.
I defer to AJ on that. I mean, there's a business side to it. There's a lot of pieces that, are part of that puzzle. I mean, I loved all three of those guys. They did a phenomenal job for us. Very grateful for them. They're one of the reasons that I'm getting this extension. So I'm thankful to them, as like I said, to all the players, but I'll defer to AJ on any of the, particulars on that.
So then my next question for AJ, obviously, Profar and Kim were not extended qualifying offers. Can you kind of go into that decision-making process and then just kind of your outlook on their off seasons and whether you'd like to bring them back?
Yeah, no, they're Profar and Kim, they've been a big part of this thing. Jurickson at different points in time in the last few years, and obviously he had the great year this year. So, he's somebody we're definitely interested in talking to, and he's a real part of what we're doing. And I've already extended out and just started those conversations, but again, he's somebody that he's earned the right to be a free agent. So we'll kind of see where that takes us. Same thing with Ha-Sung. I think Ha-Sung, I think from his standpoint, the injury, as well, that he'll come back from that, but that's all part of the calculus. And kind of that's what this week is for here and at the GM meetings. We've been preparing for this, and this is kind of the start of the off season. So ultimately decided not to put the qualifying offer. That's a $20+ million number on a 1-year deal. Just feel like that wasn't quite the direction we wanted to go to on a 1-year situation, but it doesn't close the door on either player. I think now we get into the free agent period, and we're spending the week trying to see what our options are, what things look like, getting a lot of information from a roster standpoint. And Jurickson and Ha-Sung are going to be two guys that are going to be part of our conversations all off season.
All right, I know it always a bit of a word salad from AJ, but he was pretty clear that, okay, they don't have the room for a 1-year, $21.05 million deal because, well, for either of those guys, it may be an overpay, and that all that money would also go against your CBT number. If you extend them out a few years, you might be able to lower that number. There might be a way to bring back one or both of those guys on a longer-term deal, but not on a 1-year deal, especially not at that qualifying number offer. I think that's more than fair. No one really thinks that a 1-year deal for Jurickson for $21 million is where you're kind of going in this direction.
Yeah, I agree with that. And if it's a multi-year deal that he seeks, I got texted a rumor yesterday, and I don't know where this person saw it, but I'll just take it to the air. Why not? But it was the Royals potentially interested in Jurickson Profar at $45 million for 3 years. So that would be 15 per. Seems fair-ish, yeah. 15, 45, yeah.
Ish,
yeah. 3,
ish.
45?
On the ish side.
Yeah.
Ish.
I don't think it would be more than that, but that's a good upper end number for Jurickson Profar, I'd say.
And they've been after a lot of the ex-Padres on the Kansas City Royals.
They made the playoffs with some ex-Padres.
Made the playoffs
they
last
like
year.
That plan.
Could bring some attitude and swagger to that team. But again, Jurickson, like AJ said, has earned the right to go out and test the market. And if you can't do better than that, then maybe he's a Kansas City Royal next year. And I wish him very well. I don't know that you want to get into a massive bidding war there for a left fielder that again had a great season. And I'm not super sullied by the postseason, a little bit, right? But the decline in the second half, was certainly something that you have to look at. And again, I just know Jurickson loves being a part of this team, but maybe not to sacrifice tens of millions of dollars,
Well, and that's
nor
the thing.
should he have to.
If you want to bring him back and the cost is going to be $15 million a year, do you have to find that money somewhere else? And that was that other part of the piece in the UT that, there are numerous avenues for the Padres to lower that CBT number, which they anticipate doing. Now, what does that mean? Lowering your payroll and lowering your CBT number are not always the same thing.
Correct.
You can actually increase the payroll and lower the number, and
Correct.
you can lower the payroll and increase the CBT number by, kind of creative accounting with long-term deals and the way you structure contracts. You can front load contracts and backload contracts and change your number a little bit creatively. And I think that's kind of where we're going here. Like you could massively increase the CBT by extending Jackson Merrill for 12 years. Even though you may only be paying him $1.5 million next year, his CBT number could be $28 million based on a long-term deal.
And that's kind of the deal with Shohei, right? Like they don't get just banged for the $2 million they pay him. They get banged.
It's 47, I think, or
right,
something on
right.
the CBT, because it's the deferred money based on like interest rates and you know what they have to set aside for Shohei's contract.
And could there be, because Arise could come back on an arbitration deal of what, 13, right? But you could go in, negotiate a longer deal, lower AAV, and that would help. That would help the CBT?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you could pay him 15 this year and then, 10 and 7 the next 2 years and have a lower CBT number while he actually makes a bigger raise this year. There's a number of different ways you can do it.
Creativity time.
You can also go the traditional way and trade away guys that are making money this season. And we've talked about it a couple of times. Guys on, arbitration eligible expiring contracts like Dylan Cease, like Luis Arise, that might have value with other teams. Not only could you pick up prospects and reload a bit of your farm system, maybe even pick up some pitching, but you could save quite a bit of money on the CBT by trading some of those guys. So you're also creating other holes on your team when you do that you're going to have to figure out a way to fill. So, everything comes with a both advantage and then a cost to you, depending on what you want to do this offseason.
I mean, do you feel as a Padres fan, and you guys out there listening, certainly weigh in on the chat or on Twitter or whatever. Do you feel that it would be – now, again, you can't – we cut $92 million last year, and AJ put together a really good and competitive team, a team that made people want to go out to the ballpark and watch it and sell out Petco Park 56 times, right? Is it a slap in your face, do you feel, if they're like, yeah, we're going to do it again. We're going to cut more payroll and, expect you guys to come out to the ballpark still? Or do you have to kind of wait and see what the team looks like on the field?
You have to wait. Their stated goal is that they are going to spend enough to put a championship contender on the field. Now that's some open to interpretation. That means. That's some owner GM speak. There.
As fans, we're going to be competitive.
As fans, if they have a $100 million payroll and win the World Series, we don't care.
Nobody cares.
We don't care. And if they have a $400 million payroll and don't make the playoffs, we're still going to be pretty mad about it.
Yeah,
so,
that's a good point.
Ultimately,
where's the needle? You got to thread the needle.
You can't really evaluate whether you think the payroll was good or not until at the end of the season.
It's true.
I think most people would have said cutting $90+ million from the payroll was not a good thing for the organization last year.
Yeah.
But now, after winning 93 games, you go, wow, that was really good work by A.J. Preller.
Sure.
And I have no problem with them lowering the payroll and now getting out of the CBT penalties. That was a win-win season for the San Diego Padres.
Yeah, I agree.
Now, could they go back over the CBT level? Of course. They may have to this year just to put that championship contending caliber team on the field. And I will go back to, and I've said it before, I'm not anti-Dylan Cease. I would be happy if he was on the roster going forward. But I am absolutely listening to trade offers for Dylan Cease this offseason.
Yeah.
I'm not giving him away. I'm not going, I have to trade Dylan Cease. I have to shed his salary.
Yeah, because that's 180 innings you need to find if you do trade him.
He is, according to his FIP, which is the ERA number that is fielding independent, it was basically his best season last year, was the 3.10. Do you think he's going to be better next year or not as good next year? What's the...
Or as good.
It was at 3.72 the year before. 3.1 is excellent. It really is good. His whip was a career best last year at 1.067. What arc do you think Dylan Cease is on? Upward, flat, or downward?
I could see him going up. I could see him...
If it's up, you want to keep him. If it's flat or downward, you want to think about trading him before, that downward...
Well, downward
slide.
So, I mean,
He's certainly not old. He's only 28.
It would have to be a really enticing offer that helps you.
I think so
in
too.
Multiple ways.
And but I do think I'm kind of in favor.
Prospects.
I'm kind of in favor.
One of those ways, though, is salary flexibility.
Right.
By not having to pay him his last year of arbitration, which is going to be a pretty big number.
It's not that big, though.
Like
14?
17?
That's not that much, man. Not for a starting
pitcher?
for 180 front line. I know the playoffs sucked, but the front line ace.
You got to have the horses
guy,
to get to the playoffs.
Of course,
before you can complain about how guys perform in the playoffs.
Yeah, no question. And can he get you? So then, Ben, you ride him out the last year, and maybe you don't extend him. You don't talk about a contract extension in the middle of the season, and you just ride him out. Then you extend him a qualifying offer in the offseason for whatever it is, $22 million, and he'll decline it. And then you get a comp pick from whoever signs him.
You rode him hard last year. Career high, 189 regular season innings, plus a couple of playoff starts, including one on 3 days rest.
They didn't last long, so
he's been very durable, which has been one of the great things about Dylan Cease. But all pitchers have an arm limit.
Sure.
I mean, you'd rather have it. If he's going to hit it, you'd rather have him hit it with another team than your team.
Yeah, I would. That's why I think I would just roll the dice with him in my starting rotation, knowing he's basically playing for you for this year. Then he's going to hit free agency. You get a comp pick back when he declines your qualifying offer, which he most certainly would if he had a good year. And even if he had an average year, he's still probably going to decline the $20 million 1 year deal because he wants long-term security. And you see what you can get, and you go try to win a World Series with Dylan Cease. And hopefully he pitches better in the playoffs than he did.
Again, I'm not opposed to keeping Dylan Cease.
That ain't a lot of money.
There's definitely upside. There's a lot of upside there, even if it is just his last year with the Padres, and you're going to lose him.
Think about this. You're not going to. So let's just go innings for innings. So find another pitcher that threw 180 innings but has multiple years of control. That team's not going to trade that guy to you for Dylan Cease with 1 year remaining. Right. So you're not. You may get something that could help you for the future.
I'm saying, like, if you could sign Blake Snell. There's no guarantee that Dylan Cease is going to throw more innings than Blake Snell next year. Just because he has done it doesn't mean he's going to do it again next year.
Get them both.
You got to project.
Get them both.
I said it the other day. If you're going to try to go all in on 2025, you can sell me by going and signing Blake Snell and having a rotation of Cease, King, Darvish, and Snell.
Yes.
And then figure it out. Because we're already down a starting pitcher. I'm not in business of moving another one.
Blowing way past the CBT, which is fine.
I don't care.
But you probably will have to have a reckoning for that the next year. And I feel like both of you guys are okay with that.
Yeah.
That you're definitely going to have to let Dylan Cease go. There's no way to re-sign him.
I'm all in 2025.
You might have to make some other tough decisions for 2026, but you can go for it in 2025.
You don't
and go well over, even maybe into the second apron level this year, knowing you may have to cut again big in 2026.
Well, and as Satan's Blowfish says, Cease at the deadline would be the worst case scenario. That means the season's likely a disaster. The players return a lot less at the deadline nowadays compared to a full season. Yeah, man, ride him out, go try to win a World Series, and then get a comp pick for him when he turns down your QO.
Fair enough. All right. We're
going to be in a work stoppage then, so it really won't matter.
We will talk to Mike Shildt 1 hour from now at 9 a.m. But when we come back...
Oh, you're dead.
I don't know why, but Woods has promised this for a while, so we'll be right back on 97.3 The Fan.
All right, my friends, we are halfway home on a Thursday. Ben and Woods, 97.3 The Fan. Always enjoy everyone's input about, the Padres and what you think they should do. I'm glad I don't have to make the decisions because there's a lot of tough decisions that need to be made with this team, and you want to make sure the vibes keep rolling along, right? And for me, first of all, we are Ben and Woods. You are listening on 97.3 The Fan. Weather outside is... probably 65 degrees and sunny. Beautiful. I'm Woodsy. That's Paul Reindl, executive producer. Ben Higgins.
Traffic and weather on the 10s.
That's right.
55.
So how you feeling right now after we teased this since 6 o'clock this morning?
Don't know. Can we just keep talking Padres?
Well, we can. We got time.
People talking about trading Jake Cronenworth.
Yeah.
You're going to want to know this sooner rather than later.
Right.
Yeah, you're going to need to prepare.
Why don't I know about this already?
Well, we didn't know about it till yesterday.
Okay.
So Paulie and I, as you guys know, and you've been listening to this show for a long time, or if you haven't, every single year, the thing that we probably look forward to the most is San Diego Padres Fantasy Camp. And we have been fortunate enough to go to every single one of them since they brought it back. They used to have it a long time ago back at the Q. And it went away, and now it's back, and it has grown tenfold since we started going. Paulie and I got our our Fantasy Camp Hall of Fame induction last week because we've been to every one. We got our special jackets. I'm probably going to wear mine in as a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
It's the only Hall of Fame I'll ever be in. Padres Fantasy Camp Hall of Fame. I was the only person to ever be traded in Fantasy Camp, so
That's
I
right.
have that.
Terry Kennedy
was
fed up with you.
Yep.
And dealt you to
Tim Flannery's team.
Flannery's team.
Which I was happy. It was a better fit for me anyway. And hopefully TK doesn't
It's just too much of a culture problem.
I guess so. But we look forward to it every year. We have such a blast. Now, for the first few years, Paulie and I went out, and Ben, you would stay back home. And we thought to ourselves, man, we need to really get you out there with us. Now, you're not going to play in the games and things like that, but they had you moderate the 84 panel last year.
That was a blast.
Phenomenal. You knocked it out of the park. You were a very invaluable member. You got to see the inner workings. We had the guys come by the table. We all got to sit together and do the interviews. There was no...
So much better rather than, you, me, and Dave Dravecki, and then Ben...
Back in the studio
in San Diego. It was just so much easier to have everybody there. We got the Airbnb. You didn't have to get a hotel room or anything.
Yeah, we
like
did
that.
live streams at night. We took Ben to his very first gentleman's establishment. I mean, it really was an elite trip. And you got to meet all the guys, and everyone loves seeing you. You're a celebrity there in your own right. And
so far, the segment's going fine.
Yeah.
Nothing bad so far.
So then, after the show, you were free. You went to play golf a couple days. It was a nice vacation for you, really. We had a great time. Problem is, there were a couple of instances last year where we had games. And it was, oh, crap, dude, I got to go. My game's starting. And I got traded from Paulie's team. So then it kind of splits it up. Paulie, you're going to stay. Or you leave, Paulie, I'll stay here with Ben.
Keep in mind, it's important to note that Arizona during fantasy camp is an hour ahead.
It's an hour ahead.
So we start at 7 a.m. local time out there.
Correct.
6 a.m.
That's right.
here on
7
the West
to
Coast.
11 was our shows.
Right.
So yesterday we got the email from Padres Fantasy Camp with our
schedule.
Yeah, with our schedule.
But you know what teams you're on yet?
No.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
But it doesn't matter.
We have an even amount of teams, so the schedules all are the same.
No, you play the same games at all the same time.
All the same times, yes.
Game 1, Monday. Well, we're off on Monday. That's fine.
Correct.
Okay, Tuesday, 9:30 a.m. Wait,
Which would
9:30 a.m. And we're on until 11.
So that's at 8:30 Pacific.
Pregame warm-ups start at 9. So you're going to miss the last mostly 2 hours of the show on Tuesday.
Yep.
Wednesday, 10 a.m. game. So you're going to miss the last 90 minutes of the show on Wednesday.
Yep.
Thursday, 10:30. All right, you can probably only miss an hour of the show on Thursday. And then Friday, depending on how you do, 8 a.m., 9:45 a.m., so unless you're in the first or third place game, you're just going to miss the whole show on Friday.
Pretty much.
So you're going to be on the air we're there for 4 days. You're going to be on the air for like 6 hours the entire week. And I'm going to do the other like 12 hours by myself.
Somebody's got to do it.
So we get this email yesterday.
I went, oh, no. Now, we usually...
Paulie texted me immediately. He goes, did you see the schedule? I go, I did.
In the past, we've had one game per day. It's actually worked out really well because they would do morning workouts until, 11 or 11:30, right as we're getting off the air. Then you go for lunch, and then you have the afternoon game at noon, 1 o'clock, whatever. Maybe throughout the week, one day there's a doubleheader. We're doing doubleheaders every day this week or this season.
Yeah.
So early morning game and an afternoon game. And I hate to tell you, man, we can't let our team down. Just you.
So
I'm trying to come up with potential workarounds here.
I apologize in advance.
How about this? Why don't we trade that week with Gwen and Chris, and we do 3 to 7 every afternoon?
Yeah, I'm not playing a doubleheader.
And they come in and play. They come in and do their show in the morning. Yeah, you guys go out and play 2 games, and then we come back and do the show at the end of the day.
I'll pass. So, just your initial thoughts. Maybe we could get Sammy Lev to help you.
Well, he has to come with us then. Do we have room for Sammy Lev in the Airbnb?
Always. I always have room. But he could be back in studio helping out too.
True.
If you need
I want him there. Let's see if we can bring Sammy Lev
if he'd
along.
be interested in going.
He can do his new show, which debuted last night.
Maybe you and Goose Gossage can just co-host.
Inside San Diego Baseball with Sam Levitt. He can do that show from the Airbnb on Wednesday when we're there.
Now, here's the thing. Sammy is going to be out there the whole time at spring training.
He'll be out there like 2 weeks later.
Is
I
it
don't know
really
that he wants
fair?
to go.
Oh, force him another week when he's
Another
already there
week.
for like 7 weeks and
Yeah.
then make him do another week at spring training. That is a good point.
Now, do you think you can handle it?
You've done it in the
Can I
past where it's like,
handle it?
hey,
Oh, yeah,
we
I can
need
handle
we need to leave at 9:15. Can you handle
You
the
got
last
45
45
minutes.
minutes?
It's not whether I can handle it. It's whether our audience can handle it.
Well, if we grease them long enough, then they'll be prepared. Here's the other thing I thought, and we can do this, and I'm willing to do this.
Tony's got a great idea.
What?
Co-host with Goose Gossage.
100%. Paulie said that.
I literally
Oh, did he?
Yeah.
Okay.
just
Sorry.
How about this, guys? And Paulie,
You're a nerd too.
I would
There he
be
is.
willing to do this. We can pre-tape stuff. We can pre-tape stuff. The night before, the afternoon before, whatever. We can pre-tape with guys, 30-minute segments or whatever, and then just air them just to give you a little bit of a breather.
I think there should be a daily late night at the Airbnb segment that runs the next morning on the show.
That's pretty good.
Ben and Woods After Dark.
We just tape it and send it over.
But after dawn. Like we replay it. So we like before we go to bed, whenever, 9:30, 10, we sit down for a half an hour and we just shoot the breeze.
Done.
And that segment then plays
The next day.
Do
some game
during
recaps.
the time that you're on.
Yeah,
now,
perfect.
Tier 1B George says, can we just get me and Woods mic'd up
While we're out there.
while we're playing, and we can just co-host from the field? I don't know that'd be great radio. I'm not sure.
It'd be terrible. Delilah, if she's in town, could come by.
Yeah.
Eat a segment or two. Ben and Wood's Bedtime Stories. Yeah, there's a lot of workarounds. I'm just telling you, I'm willing to work around it. I appreciate your pliability, your flexibility, your professionalism. I really like having you there. I really like having you there. I hope you like being there.
Well,
it's
the
fun.
The
It was
biggest
really fun
thing,
last year.
and I've gotten the authorization to take the time off from television.
Good.
But the big thing this year is it's the same week as the Farmers Insurance Open. I've never missed it before, but I'm willing to do it. I want to go. And we'll be back. We usually leave Friday, so I can still go. And
Yeah, you can go the
final
weekend.
round on Saturday.
Still get to do your presentation.
I could do the awards presentation on Saturday, but I've never missed the first couple of days of the tournament. But I loved it last year, and I would like to go back.
I'm just sorry that we're heaping all this extra work on you. It's not. We didn't plan it this way. It just that's how it is.
Now, on those days when we have to leave halfway through the show, the first half will be heavy with great Padres guests.
Oh, yeah,
and
it's gonna be
amazing
awesome.
What
stories.
about
You
like
can
load
replay
management?
something.
Like you guys take a game or two off
Never.
for load management.
Can't do that.
I don't need to manage my load at fantasy camp. Thank you very much.
Could be like one of the TV guys. You get hurt in the first 5 minutes. and
Knock
then
on wood.
You're really stuck, and you just have to do the show with me the rest of the week.
Not knock on wood, but yeah, we can also get. There's people that are going to be around that don't play in the games that can come and do interviews. But I saw this schedule and I went, this dude's really going to be carrying
Yeah, I
the
thought about
lion's
that,
share.
but they sent. I mean, there's 3 different fields. They're pretty far distances away from the complex,
Yeah.
and usually even the coaches that aren't maybe with the team specifically. Like if Jake Peavy's just kind of roaming,
Yeah.
he's not really going to be around the clubhouse because there's not going to be anybody there.
Yeah.
He's going to be
But
driving
we
a
can
golf
set it
cart
up.
around the field.
But we can set it up.
Yeah.
Hey, can you come by and help Ben out for 30 minutes or whatever? Now, here's a question, because we mulled this over yesterday. I said, do we tell him or do we just spring it
I'm
on
glad
him?
you told me.
Like on the drive out there. Hey, by the way.
By the way.
I'm glad you told me.
Okay.
I think
you can plan. We can plan.
I am happy to do this for you guys. I know how much that week means to you two in particular, and I am happy to step up and make sure that you have,
give him a hug.
Once again, the time of your lives at fantasy camp. And then I'll figure out a way that you guys can make it up to me.
Well,
at a later date. There may be extra golf trips in my future
we'll make it up
next
to you
year.
Explicit.
Well, we definitely will make it up to you when we're out there, as you know, as we made it up to you last year. Real good. Real good. How about this? I'm going to get, personally, you book your golf, and I'll get your golf.
Thanks.
Done.
Got to start Googling most expensive golf courses in Arizona.
TPC Scottsdale.
Woodsy, I need my per diem for today's round. What's it running? It's about $750, and I'm going to want a hot dog as well. All right, fine. Now listen, I'm
good at finding the discount golf
You
courses,
are.
but if I don't have to, it's easy to find the expensive ones out there.
I
too.
swear to God, it's worth it for me to be able to go out and be away from my family and play baseball all week. Whatever you want, I will give you whatever you want.
I am happy to do it for you guys.
Thank you.
I'm
happy to
I will
get your
even
golf.
try to make the content worthy of our tier ones and keep it going. You know what I'd like to do?
Start booking your TPC courses right now.
I will start looking into that. You know what I would like to do, and it's maybe possible, and we may have to talk to the Padres. There are so many cool people who work for the Padres behind the scenes that don't ever get
any attention,
the credit and the attention that they deserve.
Bro,
guys like JoJo, who's a tier one, who work there during the off season and get everything ready for these players. I would love just to meet some of these guys and have them sit down with me and talk about, working for a Major League Baseball team. Like, what do you do? What does
JoJo like Bill Johnston would be?
Yeah, Bill would
what
be
does
great.
An assistant, equipment manager do? Like, tell me about your day-to-day activities and routines, and how you keep the business of baseball going.
JoJo has stories for days. I can't repeat any of JoJo's stories, so he would have to be very discerning about because I got stories about all kinds of dudes that I'm like, holy shit.
The Padres PR department might be like, okay, we need to prep some of these people before they go on the air, but I would love to meet and give them their due credit because Ricky, they work so hard behind the scenes, 365 days a year. The players, obviously, they're doing 162 games, and then they go to their offseason. I know they put in work in the offseason, but most of these guys don't really even have an offseason. The season continues even through November, December, January for them all year long.
Think about the complex right now. I mean, they're there working on
Got Arizona Fall League team people there. Yeah, absolutely.
I mean,
it does not stop.
Yeah, behind the scenes stuff would be really dope and pretty. You don't get that a lot. So I think that's something
JoJo.
we can do.
He was a bat boy for the team in the 90s.
Yeah, man.
And
he's
he
seen
has
it all.
stuck with the organization since then.
Yeah, he's a great
he's
dude.
with the medical staff now.
He's rubbed my nude body a lot. JoJo will work on
We
me
won't be talking about that
exclusively.
Even all the skin tags and everything.
Now he was texting me this morning about the skin tag talk, knowing full well he's going to be the one rubbing my disgusting arms down at fantasy camp. So he's giving me some solutions because he doesn't want to have to deal with that, and I don't want him to have to deal with that. But yeah, he's rubbed me down plenty of times. All right, so that's the big.
I'm okay.
Are
okay.
you sure?
Yeah, I am okay.
And I don't want to put you out.
And
but
I will definitely get some golf in, and we will have a good time.
On me.
All right, we at the bottom of the hour.
That went better than I thought it would be.
The return of Ben Boras.
Ben Boras.
But if you don't know what we're talking about, Paulie will pull a couple of clips from last year from the winter meetings when we were out there and let you know why we were bringing back the puns of Ben Boras coming up after a check of traffic here on 97.3 The Fan.
Hit me. Hamul Casino. Fun above all else.
Been a good show so far today, and we still have the skipper, Mike Shildt, and his new contract extension coming up at 9 o'clock. Stay tuned for that. Our football threesome as well. Are you hearing that as well?
I am.
In your headphones, like a...
Are we?
It's the Santa Ana winds.
It is.
I think the Santa Ana winds have invaded
I don't know
our
if that sound's going out.
studio and microphone.
Or if it's just
but,
in our headphones.
Well, let's plow through like we should be doing as professional
like-
broadcasters. Yeah,
No one can hear that on the air?
I'm definitely hearing it for sure. All right, well, either way. We talked some good college basketball earlier. Aztecs with their season opening win. Good game against UCSD, 63-58 last night at Viejas Arena. It's always weird. You have to get to know so many new players in college basketball every year. I mean, that's also part of the fun of the sport. Even I am having trouble. Everyone can hear it. The white noise sound that is now...
Oh, that's
It's Ben's mic.
Oh, it is my mic.
All right, well, thanks for being here,
All
Ben.
right, Ben. Hey, you know you have to work extra at Fantasy Camp. We'll just let you split now. Go ahead.
Are you trying to fix it? You think you know what's wrong?
We may need an engineer. That worked?
It went away.
Woods literally unplugged it, blew into it like it was a Nintendo cartridge.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Plugged it back in.
Yeah, thank you.
All right.
No engineering staff needed.
No.
That was amazing, Woods.
Thank you, guys.
Literally 1991 Nintendo NES cartridge system fix.
Used to have to put a matchbook at the top above. I'd put in Mike Tyson's Punch-Out. I'd push it down, and then it would spring up a little bit. So I'd have to put a wedge of matchbook in there to keep it down. Then I'd close the lid, and then it would play. But you had to be. It was very ginger. If somebody moved it, you were toast. It was done.
No, we're good, Adam.
it.
Good. We fixed
Woods fixed it.
Yep, I got it.
That was impressive.
He'll send you the bill later.
I went
for
in.
his engineering services.
I unplugged it and I hocked to it, and it's good to go. I did the old.
That was impressive. I will say that.
I did it.
Let's see, where was I? We were talking
you were
some
talking about
college
the Aztecs,
basketball,
getting to know the new
Aztecs,
guys.
just resetting, getting to know the new guys. I just wanted to prove to everyone that we talked about it. We had a full segment where we talked about the game earlier.
We got it, Adam.
We're good, Adam. Yeah, Woods fixed
Beat it.
literally.
Go away.
Woods fixed the microphone.
I fixed it.
Yeah.
Beat it. Lurking.
He lurks.
He's always lurking.
We have these
My
tall
wife lurks over me.
ceiling to floor glass windows in our
standing there.
studio, and he just stands there. And
Like an inmate at Alcatraz waiting on visiting day. He's just standing there.
I feel like we're animals at the zoo.
Did you bring my per diem? Did you put money on my books? He's just
We are
standing
in
at
a
the window.
fishbowl here.
We are.
That's part of
He's
this.
a lingerer. Yeah, that's what he is, a lingerer. My wife lingers. If she sees me doing something, she lingers. And I'm like, what do you want? She wants to see if I'm going to screw it up. So she lingers over me. And I don't like to be lingered on.
A lurker.
She's a lurker and a lingerer. So is Adam. It really bothers me. I'll be making a sandwich, and she'll walk into the island, and she'll just stand there. And I'm like, what do you want? And she's like, I want to see if you're going to make a mess. I'm like, I'm probably going to. Beat it. Like, let me just give me one bit of peace in my life. I'm just making a sandwich here. Quit sniffing around. I always say, no need to be sniffing around over here. There's nothing to find for you. Lord.
Blue Meanie says, I thought Woods didn't like basketball.
I like
don't know that was
basketball
ever
now.
true, but now I think we're starting to get him to come around. Yeah. He just wishes we had an NBA team.
So badly.
But
we're not getting him to come around. His kids are.
That's part of it.
Bro,
they love basketball.
I'm telling you, they love Space Jam. It's changed their lives. Both of them. They rotate. The LeBron one, then the Jordan one, then the LeBron one. So every time I walk, now it is a little weird when your kids are singing, I believe I can fly, knowing what we know about R. Kelly. Now, I wonder, do I need to ban that song? It's such a good song for the movie.
Yeah.
But I don't know that I want my kids singing R. Kelly. Right?
Right.
Do you agree?
Yes, I agree. You don't want your kids singing R. Kelly necessarily.
Right. Especially R. Kelly.
We've talked about it many times over the years, separating the art from the artist.
Correct.
And how it can be tricky. That one's not.
It doesn't feel that tricky
for
for me.
You're like, yeah, I'm good. Just forgetting R. Kelly ever existed.
Mark said, what did R. Kelly do? Go to Google. I can't even repeat it. All right?
Let's see. I think for me, it makes a huge difference knowing, like, when you talk about San Diego State, that they can win a championship. They, we have a team that is good enough to challenge. It's one of the reasons why I can't get that into San Diego State football, because I know they are not at a level where they can challenge for anything meaningful in their sports.
Yeah, it's tough.
But San Diego State basketball can. The Padres can.
Yeah.
They haven't, but they can. We know it's in there somewhere. And I want to be able to cheer for a team that can challenge for a championship in their sport. It makes a big difference to me. That's why, like the Seals, it's been fun because they're playing for a real championship. It's NLL. It's maybe lacrosse and not a sport that everybody is into, but they're battling for a championship. The Gulls, meanwhile, it's fun to go to a Gulls game, but it's minor league. I don't feel like they're really battling. They're trying to develop players for another team, and that makes a difference to me somehow in terms of my absolute fandom when it comes to teams. But, I'm all in on San Diego State basketball. I'm glad that you're kind of jumping on board more as well.
It's really hard to not. It's hard to not based on the success that they've had. That makes me a bandwagoner. So be it. I'm happy to admit it. I enjoyed that
To
tournament.
be fair, they've only been good and exciting since you got here.
Yeah, and that's true. That's true. So it wasn't. It's more of Coach Fisher, getting to know him, Coach Dutcher. I know his daughter. I worked with her at the Seals. You see the quality of human beings that they turn out, and then you see the quality of play, and you're like, yeah, why wouldn't I be on board with this? They're a friggin' blast. They are a blast to watch, and I had such a good time. I was waiting. Like yesterday was one of those days. I was like, all right, let's get these dudes to bed. Let's get to the stories read and teeth brushed, and I got Aztecs basketball. It's cool.
Then that's why I'm kind of excited about San Diego FC, because it's a top level.
Yeah.
In our country of soccer, and they're playing for a real MLS championship. Now, I know it's not the same as the Premier League or the European soccer stuff. It's always a little bit below, and they're in some ways a minor league, because if you were a really good American soccer player, they'd probably poach you for an English Premier League team, or you'd go play for Real Madrid or something.
We don't have that option here.
Yeah,
that's
for
our
our country,
major league.
It is the best you're going to get, and we're going to have a team in the best level of the sport. Division I college basketball is the best level of the sport that we can cheer for at that level, and that's part of the appeal for me with San Diego State.
Yeah, no doubt.
All right, last year at the winter meetings, I don't know why we didn't do this before, because Scott Boras has been doing this bit for years. He has just gotten to it a little bit earlier this year with his free agent, his puns that get repeated in the media. I'm sure he has a strategy. He knows that it's going to get those names out there, talked about early on in the offseason.
It's just his shtick.
And he started doing it again yesterday with Blake Snell and with Pete Alonso with his polar bear puns and everything that he does. So last year at the winter meetings, we thought, doesn't every free agent deserve their own Scott Boras level puns, even if they're not Scott Boras clients?
Yeah, so we went to one of his lower level soldiers at Boras Corp, like a long lost nephew of his, Ben Boras, and he goes by Boras. And so we thought, let's let him. He handles maybe some of the lower level guys as well.
I've been put in charge of a player at every single position around the diamond. I have 10 clients for you, and I'd like to extol some of their virtues right now. Starting with one of our newest clients behind the plate. You might be familiar with the name Victor Caratini.
Absolutely.
He's a 24-carat star behind the plate who's just the kind of depth your team needs for Victor E.
No. That was last year.
My next client's a pretty big name now. Third baseman Justin Turner. He'll arrive just in time to help Turner your team's fortunes around. But don't skimp on the green if you want Big Red to join your lineup over the holidays.
Elite. He should hire you. You should hire him today.
In the outfield, very exciting client, Tommy Pham.
Ooh.
Get ready for one fantastic signing. Tommy isn't deaf, dumb, or blind, but sure plays a mean baseball.
I hate you. One of the best ones I've ever heard.
Oh, I forgot how bad that one was.
That's so good.
So I put in minutes of work again yesterday to come up with, again, another 10 around the diamond and a pitcher.
How do you do it so fast?
I don't know.
It's like a real. I'm telling you guys. Let's say I texted him at 3:30 and said, "Can you have this ready tomorrow?" At 3:43, he's like, "I'm done." I go, "You're joking." He goes, "No, it's moronically easy for me."
It's both a skill and a disease.
It's a curse and a blessing.
Time.
Yes, disease.
I wonder if Scott Boras, do they do a brain? Does he just come up with them on his own, or is there like a brainstorming session in a conference room with all of his underling agents that get together?
I just looked. It was less than 20 minutes. And he's like, all right.
Less than 20 minutes.
I said, all right, I'll come up with 3 or 4 for tomorrow. And then like 15 minutes later, I'm done. I got 10. We're ready to go.
I can't wait to hear these.
So when we come back, Ben Boras makes his return with a new crop of free agents for the 2024-2025 MLB offseason. Next on 97.3 The Fan. After we just spent an entire first segment discussing how important fantasy camp is to Woods.
This is wild.
How he needs to leave the show for probably 8 hours that week to play games. He just comes up with the question, what month is fantasy camp again? What month? It's like 2 months away. It's in January. It's always in January. Even I know that. I've been once. It's always in January.
So I do PA for the Seals, as you know. I have so many. I have home games that I have to figure out. And I'm looking at the Seal schedule, and I'm looking at my calendar going, wait, aren't we off President's Day? Is that the day we go to fantasy camp in February? No, it's January. It's January every year. I'm just trying to get my schedule, my life in order.
By President's Day, spring training is already underway. They won't let you into the back rooms.
Yeah,
in
not allowed to
Peoria by
even
President's
set
Day.
foot inside. So we're going to have to plan our spring training around seals as well. Right. But it's on the weekend, so we're good.
All right, I have prepared all of my puns.
Here we go.
Ben Boras makes his return right after a check of traffic here on 97.3 The Fan.
From the 97.3 The Fan Traffic Center, here's Kelly Danick.
Got a few problems here, guys. One of them is a crash on northbound 5 before Genesee. It's a solo spin out in the center divide. Up ahead, past the 52, some small appliance bouncing around in middle lanes. We've also got a collision on westbound 8 on or near the Fletcher Parkway off-ramp. It's over to the right shoulder. Southbound 15, just past the 78. Got a collision involving several vehicles, including a motorcycle. Got the HOV lane blocked. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben and Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
Yeah, sounds like someone's going to need a new B&B appliance after leaving their small
Yes.
appliance on the freeway this morning.
Make it happen.
All right, Paulie, I've got my background set, my Boras Corporation background. I am Scott Boras' nephew, Ben Boras. And we always think that every client deserves puns, not just the big-time Juan Sotos and Blake Snells and Pete Alonsos of the world, but every free agent on the market should get a good Scott Boras-like pun. That's where Ben Boras comes in, and I have created a list, again, of 10, one for each position on the diamond, including the mound, with puns for your off-season free agents. You ready to go?
I'm ready.
All right, let's start behind the plate. It would be a travesty that has you saying, darn, no, if you miss out on a catcher like Travis Darno.
It's better and better every year.
First base. You've got to be schmitting me that a player of Paul's pedigree is on the market. You'll strike gold with Paul Goldschmidt at first base.
Schmitting me.
Got to be schmitting me.
You've got to be schmitting me.
It's pretty good.
Very
Pretty good.
All right, second base. He's jolly at the plate and merry in the field at second base. You know it. Whit Merrifield is the player for your team.
Stupid.
Keep going.
Shortstop. At age 31, he's still in his prime. So make the move now before he's Paul DeOld. Sign Paul DeYoung
Oh, my God.
at shortstop.
My God. Paul DeOld. Paul DeOld is amazing.
Third base. If you're doubting he's still a top third baseman, then yo on drugs. This one Moncada, you got to sign. Yo on Moncada.
Yo on drugs.
That one actually makes me laugh. Left field. Mark my words. You cannot find a better left fielder on the market than Mark Canna. All right. Center field. Why settle for a B- center fielder when you can get a Michael A? He's tailor-made for your outfield needs.
Michael
That's
A.
like,
Taylor.
really? Michael A. Taylor,
Yeah.
huh?
Right field. When that free agent envelope is opened, walk up on the stage and accept your Teoscar for signing the best right fielder on the market, Teoscar Hernandez. And finally, on the mound.
Accept your Teoscar.
How do you like your opposing batters served up? Roasted, broiled, fricassee, or fried? There's only one pitcher with max value on the market, and it's Max Fried.
Oh, man.
And those are your Ben Boras puns for 2024 offseason.
Again, it was about 5 o'clock yesterday, and I texted texted the group thread, and I said, "Hey, Benny, can you come up with some Ben Boras? We did that around this time last year. Let's do it again tomorrow." He said, "Yeah, I can come up with 3 or 4."
My first instinct was, no, I need hours and hours to prepare. Give me like a week, and I'll start looking at it.
15 minutes it took this man to just come up with all of those.
I went to our YouTube feed yesterday, and I saw that a guy had commented Shout out to Manthony18, who commented on our YouTube feed, can't wait for Ben Boras to talk about his crop of free agents in December. And I screenshot it and sent it to Paulie. And I go, I completely forgot about Ben Boras. And he goes, oh, my God, I did too. And then he went back and looked. He goes, it's perfect timing. And again, this is how it came together. So thank you. I would have forgotten that entirely.
My favorites were Johan Drugs.
Johan Drugs is great. They're all great.
And I like
you're
I like to
schmitting me.
accept your Teoscar for signing
They're all
the
good.
best right fielder on the market.
They're all good.
Paul DeOld?
Paul DeOld is that is like and really, like, if your team signs really any of those guys other than maybe Teoscar, you're pretty pissed. You know, you're pretty pissed. Paul DeYoung, Michael A. Taylor.
I'd look into Travis d'Arnaud.
Travis d'Arnaud would be good.
Merrifield.
Paul Goldschmidt's he's a shell of himself.
He is.
But if he has even like a fraction of a bounce back season for 1 year for a team, he could really help someone like the San Diego Padres, possibly. I don't know. I just don't. What is he going to want? He was making a lot, and he's not going to make anything. But yeah, Max Fried is definitely up there.
He's a Dodger, as you know.
Padres don't need Michael A. Taylor. I don't think they need Mark Canha. Although if you don't re-sign Jurickson Profar, Canha actually is a pretty good player.
Yeah, none of those. That's why they give them to you. They're some of the lower tiered guys.
Yes, these are definitely the tier. Anywhere from A- to C+ at best for some of these free agents.
That was amazing. That was really outstanding work.
Thank you.
Very well done. The funny thing is, if we asked him for 20, he probably could have come up with 30.
It's really a process. So I open the list of free agents by position, and I just scan through the names, and eventually it's like
it just comes to you.
One just like rises to the top. And I go, okay.
What was your first one? Do you remember?
I just started with Travis d'Arnaud.
Travis d'Arnaud.
It's a travesty that has you saying darn.
No. Oh, darn. Oh.
Darn. Oh. If you miss out on a catcher like Travis d'Arnaud.
It's really good. It's really good. Hope the skipper, Mike Shildt.
Some are more of a stretch. Like Goldschmidt was like, I don't know who to choose at first base. And then finally,
are you schmitting me?
I settled on schmitting me.
You think Shildt would like that bit?
Yeah.
You do?
I think he might.
I think he might too.
Yeah.
Feels like he's
How fantastic is that?
I think he'd like
he loves it.
Some dad jokes. He'll throw a dad joke at you.
I love that.
Do you guys follow Padres Haiku on X? Have you seen his Mike Shildt bit that he does? Bro, he posts the picture of Shildt, which is a great one. And he looks like the dad. And he has his little
kind of that knowing
he's kind of like that
he's got, yeah.
I'm going to find one for you. They've disappeared a little bit. Here we go. When the Home Depot employee tries telling you a better way to seal your granite countertops, and it's kind of got the Shildt look, bro. He goes off on these, and it just kills me.
Skeptical dad look.
Skeptical stepdad, maybe.
Yeah.
It just gets me every time.
We have a little bit of news.
Oh, we got some news?
It depends on how much you put into this. But a couple weeks ago now, we talked about Jackson Merrill won Rookie of the Year for, was it Baseball America?
Yes, Baseball America.
Yeah, and the Players'
Players.
Choice or whatever the Players' Award was. Big one.
The official one, the one that really goes on the resume, is the Baseball Writers Award. That's not going to come out for another couple of weeks.
Right.
But Baseball Digest has given out their National League Rookie of the Year, and it goes to...
I love Paul Skeens.
Really? So the first non-Jackson Merrill Rookie of the Year award is out. And who was that again?
Baseball Digest.
Baseball Digest.
And who won it?
Paul Skeens, your beloved.
I was going to have you play it again. I love Paul Skeens. I do.
All right, that's at least tempering my expectations. I still think Jackson Merrill's going to win, but when the first few awards came out and they were all Jackson Merrill, I thought, well, maybe it's not as close as we all thought it might be. But now that someone, well, at least one organization has given it to Paul Skeens, it tells me that maybe it's going to be a close vote.
I found one that laid me out in the season. It's Shildt sitting there. He's got the look. Mike Shildt waits till 9 to turn on the air conditioning. Quote, "You want to pay the power bill? Be my guest." Haiku is absolutely brilliant. brilliant with these. Oh, my God. They lay me out every single time. It's incredible. He's got that look, you know?
He does. That's for sure.
So good.
He had a good look yesterday. Smiling.
Happy.
Seemed in a good mood. Obviously, a little stability. Financial security is a good thing, and had him feeling good. But he's also, and we'll talk to him coming up here, I think he's very comfortable with the ethic of the Padres organization under A.J. Preller.
Yeah.
They talked a lot about alignment and how A.J.'s finally found a manager that really doesn't mind. You know, A.J.'s manic, at all hours, all ideas, thrown at him. And Mike doesn't seem to mind that. He actually appreciates working at a place where all they care about is finding different ways to win. And they may not like all the ideas or agree on every idea, but he certainly doesn't have a problem with A.J. Preller calling him up at, 10 p.m., 6 a.m., going down to the office, whatever. And, hey, I was thinking this, I was thinking that, I was thinking this. And Mike Shildt works well in that kind of environment, and he's definitely willing to stick around for the long haul and do it.
Yeah, you just put your phone on silent, too, like I do.
I don't think that's allowed.
You're not catching me at 10 p.m.
If you worked for A.J. Preller,
sorry, bud,
I don't think you can turn off notifications.
They're off. I'm turning my phone off.
Then you're probably not working for A.J. Preller.
Good morning, guys.
He doesn't. Then that means he doesn't get me.
Yeah.
I need a work-life balance. It's very important to me.
And we've heard that that's not really the case with AJ.
2 young children I'd like to raise.
I mean, when he's playing basketball, and that's when you have your time off.
He plays basketball like 6 in the morning.
Well, that's right. You got 6 in the morning until like 7:30,
yeah.
and then he's back at it.
Then it's time to work.
And then it's time to work again. So you better be ready to answer the phone. If he calls, if he texts, he's going to want your input right away, Woods.
I'll get back to you.
He doesn't care about your family time or your me time.
He did make fun of me one time on the air for taking I had a day off, and I took my kids to the aquarium. And the next time I talked, he goes, "Really? The aquarium?" And I was like, well, "Yeah, like my kids like sea life. What do you like? Is that a marine? They like marine biology." And he's like, "Oh, all right. It's kind of tired that you would take a day off to do that, but I said, all right, fair enough."
He's a workaholic. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah,
and he is. He's driven some people out of the organization because of it, but he also has a lot of stability.
He looks good. I saw a little screenshot of him. He looks great.
He looked good. He has
find out what his regimen is, because that season, you would think that it would take a lot out of him, but he looks better than ever.
He's found the guys that work well with him. Chris Camp, Josh Stein. They've stuck around with him for a long time now. So he finds the guys that are willing to, do it the way he likes to do it, and they have a good nucleus there in their scouting department. Always considered one of the best in baseball. It's there, it's AJ's team, and it's very much now every aspect of this organization after a decade. It's all AJ. There's nothing left from the before years. It's all AJ now.
He looks better than he's looked since he got here.
I agree.
Isn't that crazy? You think it now? You look at Brian Cashman. Whoa! I mean, you talk about he's aged now.
Well, watching the comeback recently and seeing how young he was.
Yes.
Just in 2003 and 4.
Yeah.
He looked like a child.
A little kid.
Yeah.
You see him now, you're like, whoa. He's been through it. He has been through it.
But in many ways, AJ is looking as good as he has
fantastic.
in years.
I want to know what his regimen is.
Hale and healthy.
Yeah. Looks great. All right, Skipper's up next. Excited. Haven't talked to him forever.
Yeah, it's been a while because we missed the last couple of weeklies because of his schedule, and they talked to Tony and Chris in the afternoon, so we never really got a final wrap-up of the season. We're not going to relitigate the playoffs with him. We'll see how he's doing in the aftermath of how everything ended.
I think we should ask him about some move that he made 6 weeks before the season ended. Just see what. Hey, do you remember that game September 4th? What were you thinking there?
I promise you he does.
Yeah. What were you thinking there?
No doubt. He is. He's redone it all in his mind.
Oh yeah,
many times.
I want to ask him about that.
But it'll be good to catch up with him and just see how he's doing. Other than the contract extension, I want to know when he is finally ready to be, go home. What he's looking forward to doing. This
100%.
Just a little me time for
Maybe
the
this is
skipper
home
as well.
now.
I think he's supposed to be going back, but he hasn't done it yet. So anyway, Mike Shildt, our manager's report, off-season edition, coming up next in our final hour of Ben and Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. All right, final hour of Ben and Woods here on a Thursday, and let's get right to it. It's been a while. I can't believe, I was just looking at my calendar. It's almost been a month since the last game for the Padres, Game 5 against the Dodgers of the NLDS. Does that seem possible?
Crazy. I know.
That is absolutely crazy. The business of the offseason is already well underway, including yesterday's announcement of a new 2-year contract extension for Padres manager Mike Shildt. And it is time now for our manager's report, brought to you by San Diego County Credit Union. It's not big bank banking, it is better, and we are joined by the skipper of the San Diego Padres, Mike Shildt. Mike, it's good to have you back on. Good morning to you.
Good morning. How are we doing?
Doing good. Doing good. Congratulations on the extension. I know that that probably has to be a little bit of a load off going into the season.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm very grateful. We obviously had a good year. A lot of people were responsible for it. I just try to stay out of the way as much as possible and allow people to do their thing. But, yeah, super grateful and excited about the future for sure.
So I was there in LA on that Friday night, tough night for all you guys. I know I was in that clubhouse and saw your reaction as well. How do you process something like that? What kind of time does it take to kind of move on and move forward?
I think it's probably in a couple parallels. I mean, ultimately, to answer your question, there's never going to be enough time for that. It's something that, it'll be a part of your soul for a long time. And now I don't make like dramatic, but you think about it and sometimes it pops in your head and you're like, gosh darn it,
Yeah.
But the other side of that I feel really good about, that also is good for headspace, is that occupies a fair amount of it, is, and it did. It took me, I think it took a lot of us. I'm still in San Diego. Came in and around the club and around the front office and around all the people that work here and, in the city, obviously. And there was just like a slumber for, X number of days. And I get all that, man. It hurt, but then you start to get away from it a little bit and you start to, at least for me, you look at where do we start? And where we started and where we finished, you go, pretty darn good, man. A lot of great things took place. A lot of good things are still in process to take place. And so I feel a real sense of accomplishment for what this season looked like. But, clearly there's disappointment in the last game. But from where we started and being in Korea to where we finished and having the second most wins in the history of the organization and having some special moments that the city embraced and went on the journey with us was pretty darn cool.
Yeah, it was, and it was certainly a pleasure to cover. After the year before that, I think took years off of all of our lives, and watching it last year, and the second half was such a blur because all you guys did was win. I mean, we would have to come in here and go, well, there's really nothing to pick apart. Hey, the guys won again, won another
That's
series.
What you want to do, pick it apart.
That's right. And we're looking at it going, all right, but and then. Shildt, I just wanted to ask you this, too. One of the big things that you've been given a lot of credit for and deserve a lot of credit for is changing the culture of things that happened in 2023. And it certainly was, we were in the clubhouse just a little bit, and you could see it. I mean, you could see it. You could see it on the field with the play. As far as that, do you feel like, all right, now that's good. That's installed. This is the way we do things now with the San Diego Padres. So no matter who you bring in, they're going to fall in line right away, and I know that's important to you. Any worries at all about culture getting away in 2025?
I don't worry about it, but I want to make sure that we continue to be intentional about and actually grow it and make it to be even a more deeper part of our core identity of how we operate here. If you look at really long-standing organizations, there's always going to be some kind of churn. We're not anticipating any churn with staff, not a lot of churn with roster. But the whole club's not going to be back. And my point I'm getting at is, you look at sustaining success, you have a clear understanding of how we prepare and how we compete and how we conduct ourselves that everybody in the organization's aware of, from front office to staff to most importantly the players that live it and execute it. And so then when you have people that come in and they just plug right in and go, oh, this is how we operate here, and they make the transitions easier, and there's clarity of what that looks like. And so, we've done a nice job of implementing it and getting it to be a core part of how we operate. But we still want to make sure we're growing it. We're not taking it for granted, and making it more consistent and deeper. But the continuity that we have that in the staff returning, it looks like, and then, a lot of our core players understanding it and buying into it, then it only continues to foster.
Mike, there was a lot of talk yesterday between you and AJ, just alignment, values, and what you guys feel is important. Not that you always have to agree on everything, but we'd seen with previous managers, they always talk about that going in, but the reality can sometimes be different. What was the work of that like as you experienced your first year as a manager working with AJ Preller, and how did you guys come together and have that understanding of how each of you operates during the season?
Well, first we recognize, and AJ said it, and I alluded to it as well, like there's a common hungerness to be real for the team to be great and to do our part, and there's a real dedication to that. So it has to start there, right? You have to have your leadership and both really determined and then have this skill sets to be able to execute. And so that's a good starting point. Then after that, once that we're working towards a common goal, then nothing's personal. And that's the one thing that of many that I really appreciate about AJ that I think can be misunderstood. AJ's going to feel convicted about what he believes in, and clearly he's a general manager and has the autonomy to execute it. But he's not above reproach, and he can be challenged, and he doesn't take it personally. And so we did it. We challenged each other. We talk and we don't agree all the time, and it can get passionate, and that's healthy. But the most healthy part of that is it's not personal, and it's not. We know we're going towards the same place, and then figuring out what each other's strong preferences were, and then also appreciating and respecting the non-negotiables that each of us had, and they exist. And so when you can look and you're in a team setting and you realize you're not going to get everything you want, but you can stand up for what you believe in and feel valued and heard, and then you can come up with something that you can both agree on that is best for the organization, and then go execute it like it was your idea. But that's hard. Those are great words and philosophies, but they really, really work. And it took some time for us to figure out some of those things are. Growth comes through a little pain and hard conversations, but we were able to get on a good part of the other side of it and start to really understand how we operate and think, and then ultimately work together.
Talking to the skipper, Mike Shildt. Again, congratulations on the extension. Wanted to talk to you about next year. Going into spring training, and you started last year. You'd been with the organization, but you come in, and now you're the boss, you're the manager, and everyone's looking to you, and you've got to implement this, and this is how we're going to do things. So now that you do have a little bit more continuity. Is there a different feeling for you as far as, getting off to a really, really good start? I think every manager wants to. We had this debate yesterday. Now, I probably would have bet my house on the Phillies winning the World Series based on their start they had last year, or the New York Yankees based on their start. How important is it to you? I know it's such a marathon, that 162 games, Shilty, but how important is it for you guys to look up maybe at the All-Star break and say, all right, we're in better position this year than we were last year?
Clearly, yeah, we want to be you always want to get off to a good start. You want to win every game. You want to be good at the beginning, the middle, and the end. So, that's always the goal. Clearly, that's what, we're working towards. And, I'm at the ballpark now, and we're about to have meetings with our staff and big league staff and upper level player development staff and some front office about, starting to review the process of what just happened and how we plan for moving forward. So, ultimately answer your question is, I'm very, very, I think you've caught up on this. People say it all the time. But the process driven is important to me. And so, if I know that we've got, and that's why the off season is very important to me. Like, I expect us to win the off season, and you can say, how do you determine that? Well, you determine it based on your preparation, how you compete and play during the season. I'm confident we'll do that. And, so that gives me the confidence. So when the proper processes are in place, irrespective of department, pitching, hitting, defense, base running, our pregame meetings, the efficiency of that, how we're getting information to players, how they're processing it, how we're competing, how we're individualizing it. Once all those things are happening, then, and you see that you're working towards a positive every day, then collectively it typically works. Now, when that all comes together on any given days, does it come together? That's what we're shooting for, obviously. But the wrap-up point for me is, like, when that's taking place and you see that going, you just have some peace and calmness to it. But there's an end date to the end of the season, and so you're always racing towards that end date. But you can't overlook the steps it takes to get there. And the quicker we get that, and quicker we acclimate, as soon as we continue to get our processes clear with our players and partner with them in the off season, the better we're going to be able to compete.
Yeah, and I'm fascinated by the fact that you're going to leave us and go do some meetings today. How much of a, for lack of a better word, autopsy do you do on last season, and do you start as early as spring training? We liked this, we didn't like this. Like, how does that work for we laymen in here, as far as kind of the review and then moving forward?
Yeah, I mean, listen, everybody's got their own operating system. I've seen a lot of them, been a part of a lot of them. I think the one that works best. I feel like if you're waiting to go to spring training to figure it out,
yeah,
spring training is not to figure it out. Spring training is to execute, to get ready for a season. And it has been a long season. Got to play, to your point, into October. Clearly want to play a little bit further, but starting earlier this year is a long year. A lot of we did our jobs. But my point I'm getting at is, there was a rightful downtime, for guys to get back. And there is a burnout factor to this profession. Sure. That, when I talk to people that do things for high levels, and whether it's other sports or other industries, and you compare schedules, people that are highly driven and highly successful and spend hours upon hours working and are in high stress roles, they look at our schedule and they go, "You got to be kidding me." And it really is. And I love it. We love it. You have to. But what I'm getting at is, you want to be respectful of the off season. But man, we just got through experiencing 8+ months of individual and team, experiences. And now it's time to capture them. So that's what we're going to do the next 6 days with our staff, with all areas. We're going to capture everything that just got through happening. And then we're going to share our thoughts with our players. So we're going to get their thoughts first to what they thought just happened, because they're the ones performing, and we need to work and understand where they're coming from. And then we're going to enjoy the off season, family time and some much deserved mental and physical break. But we're going to show up, in Peoria, and every individual player, including new acquisitions and the staff, are going to know how we're going to execute individually and collectively.
Perfect segue to my last question, Mike, and that is, you're still in your office now. You just came off 8 straight months. I know you didn't have much of an offseason last year because of the hiring process and then going to meet with all of your new players in the offseason. So when you finally do go back home, or whatever your plan is, what's one fun thing you are planning to do between now and the start of spring training, just for you, like something that you are looking forward to doing?
Yeah, I'll go to North Carolina next week, and I'll spend some time there at home, and I'll play. I'm not a big golfer, but I'll go and I'll play 9 holes. I'll play by myself. Yeah. I'm not great, which is one of the reasons. And I'll just play at my leisure, not concerned about competing against, I've got to birdie this hole or whatever. I just wanted to go out and play my music, get some golf balls, play probably 9 holes, go in, have an adult beverage maybe, and a nice meal and watch the sunset.
Old fashioned, man, or are you just going to go with a traditional beer? What you going to go with?
Nah, I keep it pretty clear.
Yeah, clear. I like that. Little Tito's, maybe. Yeah.
Are you in agreement?
Yeah, maybe.
Are you in agreement with me that?
Listening, but yeah, I keep it clear. Water.
Water.
Wow.
All right. Are you in agreement with me that nobody needs 18 holes of golf? It really should be 12. 12 is the magic number. The front 6 and the back 6, and you're done. It shaves at least an hour and a half of misery off the round. You play 6 holes, you have a beer, then you play 6 more holes. You call it a day.
I think you're 3 over.
I'm 3 over. All right.
And I think after 9 for me, I'm kind of out.
I'll do 36 in a day.
He will do 36 walking in a day.
I am obsessed. So
that's too much.
Mike,
no, that's cool.
It's cool. Well,
Well, he's pretty good too. He's like a 5. So maybe you and I should play together. We'll leave Ben behind. But thank you. Have a great off season. Looking forward to seeing you in Peoria. And again, congratulations. Glad you're going to be here for a few more years at least.
Yeah, me too. So appreciate you guys. Enjoy your day.
Thanks, Shildt.
Mike Shildt, manager of the San Diego Padres. And again, our manager's report brought to you by San Diego County Credit Union. It's not big bank banking. It's better.
Would you like to be a fly on the wall in those meetings? Because I know I would.
No, I want to be a fly on his golf carts.
Yeah, I would want to be in those meetings.
His speakers, probably like that magnet speaker that he's streaming on his phone and just playing by himself.
I've been trying to think about
Well,
that.
he's kind of talked about it before.
Country.
He's some country, but he also is kind of some classic rock, and he'll mix it up a little bit.
My mind is wandering.
He needs his own Mike Shildt
I'm thinking like a lot
Spotify
of
channel.
Creedence Clearwater
Maybe
Revival.
some CCR or like She's Gone Country. Like I feel like it's some old school, like 90s country maybe. Yeah?
Alan Jackson.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, all in.
Dwight Yoakam.
Yeah, Dwight Yoakam.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it.
All right, we're going to check traffic, and then we can react to what we just heard from the skipper, Mike Shildt. And we've also got our football threesome as well. So lots to get to still with Ben Woods here on 97.3 The Fan.
Omega line.
All right, here we go. Black 17 hot. That is mine. No. All right, hit me.
Hamul Casino. Fun above all else.
Winner, one line winner, take the Omega line.
All right, here we go. Black 17 hot. That is mine. No. All right, hit me.
Hamul Casino. Fun above all else.
I must say, I enjoyed speaking with the manager, Mike Shildt. I don't think there was any breaking news out of the conversation. But when he said that, like, the loss to the Dodgers will stick with his soul for, like, the rest of his life.
I felt that. He's one of us.
Felt like that. Yeah, okay. I mean,
well, he says he'll just be walking around, and sometimes it'll pop in his head. It's like we've all been walking around going 24 innings, man, 24 straight innings. You know.
I think it's sometimes lost, though, that as much as we care as fans and feel like, those guys are getting paid, they're just still getting paid. They don't care as much. They actually care, strangely, more than you do. I know they don't always show it, but my guess is it sticks with him even longer than it sticks with you as a fan.
I don't know that that's true. Because let's say Mike Shildt moves on and goes somewhere else in 3 years. Now he's all in on the Rays. You know what I mean? Like I think with the players
see
too.
what you're saying, but he knows that was an opportunity for
to win
legacy
a World Series,
to win a World Series.
Sure.
Legacy. It was right there. I mean, not maybe in the palm of your hand, but it was within reaching distance there. And you don't always get within reaching distance of winning a World Series. That's where legacies are defined. And whether he goes on and wins one with the Padres, goes on to another organization and wins 3 of them, it's always going to be that one that he thought, we definitely could have had that one.
I mean, getting your first one is got to be, whether for a player or a manager, it's just such a load off. I mean, think about Dave Roberts getting this one as opposed to the other one. Yeah, this one means more. It means way more than the last one did. Again, even playing field, everyone had a chance to win it. I get it. But you take out 100 games of that grind, and you're certainly managing way differently that season than you ever were, and you've had tons of resources. And to get that one, to get it out of the way, like the big one, the real one, the one that counts, the 162 plus the playoffs, all of that, man, forget it. Like, that's got to be such a load off for a player, for a manager. And, obviously we want that here. Want that for Shildt, ASAP.
All right. Our thanks again to the manager, Mike Shildt. Right now,
it is sexy.
It is time, to get a little football threesome.
Can Ben and Woods interest you in a threesome?
A threesome would be fun.
Oh, not that kind of threesome.
Dang it.
We're talking end-arounds, the best tight ends in the world.
He must work out.
And going all the way in this game of inches.
Nice.
It's the NFL Threesome with Ben and Woods. Brought to you by Hamul Casino. Fun above all else on 97.3 The Fan.
Personal foul, 69, offense. He was giving them the business.
All right, getting to our 3 sports football topics here in our football threesome. And we always start with a look ahead to tonight's game. Thursday night football here on 97.3 The Fan, 5:15 kickoff this afternoon. Pretty good Thursday night game tonight.
Very good.
The Cincinnati Bengals will be visiting the Baltimore Ravens. Some injury issues for both teams, Woods. Wide receiver Isaiah Likely is out for the Ravens. He's definitely doubtful, and he's likely out for the Ravens. T. Higgins, cousin T, is doubtful for Cincinnati in that game. It is a rematch.
I'm sorry.
Cousin T.
What?
Cousin T. Higgins.
It's a rematch of a game that the Ravens won 41-38 in overtime last month. Now, that was in Cincinnati. I think Baltimore's clearly the better team, but Cincinnati a little more desperate because they are currently with a losing record. And if they want to get back into the playoff picture, they're going to need to pull off an upset somewhere, and this would be an opportunity to do so.
Good. I mean, just a good marquee matchup. Records notwithstanding, these two teams don't like each other very much. They play each other very, very tough. Just for a Thursday night Amazon Prime game.
Good quarterbacks, Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson.
Bro. Sign me up.
With so many bad matchups in the NFL.
The line tonight is the Ravens are favored by 6. So a little closer than I thought it would be. But
Lamar banged up at all?
No, I think Lamar's healthy. I think.
Hurt.
Is he hurt?
I thought he got banged up on Sunday.
He did, but I think he's expected to play.
Yeah.
Will he be as effective? I guess we will see.
I'm looking at that line, and I'm looking at Cincinnati +6 is kind of enticing.
It is. They are 5-4 against the spread, and Baltimore is 5-3-1 against the spread. So there you go.
All right, part 2 of our threesome, intriguing matchup of the week. And there's definitely a couple of intriguing matchups. I want to talk about the least intriguing matchup, though. Why are we subjecting the country of Germany to Giants-Panthers at 6:30 in the morning?
Talked about this a couple weeks ago
in San Diego.
in the Reiner Report because they also announced that it's either the anthem or it's a halftime show or something.
MGK.
It's Machine Gun Kelly.
Let's send our worst.
This is just such a brutal game. The Giants are terrible, and they're favored by a touchdown in this game. It's brutal. It's at Allianz Arena in Munich, Germany. It's an early start in San Diego, so if you
6:30
are up early and want to watch NFL Network,
I'll be up.
I just don't know that I'd turn that one on.
I'll be up. Might be my only shot at watching NFL on Sunday.
Completely irrelevant to everybody.
Yeah, that is the least intriguing matchup. The most intriguing matchup for me, personally, is the San Francisco 49ers and Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And there's one reason and one reason only, is that my number one draft pick, Christian McCaffrey, will be returning to the 49ers. Finally. Wasted a pick on him, and he was hurt, and he'll be back. Now, the Niners, he couldn't have come at a better time. I mean, they're 4-4. Tampa Bay's 4-5. You get McCaffrey back. Who knows?
Big game for playoff matchups here.
Yeah, dude. Who knows what can happen? So that's an intriguing. I mean, he's a great football player, an intriguing football player, and they got to be feeling a lot better, weathering the storm at 4-4 without him. Now getting him back, if he's anything like Christian McCaffrey, they're going to be in much better shape.
I actually think the best matchup is Steelers and Commanders.
That's what I have.
Yeah,
I mean, the Washington Commanders are undoubtedly an intriguing team now with Jaden Daniels at quarterback, and they're fun. They're selling out games back in Washington again. It's a good place to go watch football for the first time in such a long time.
If you had a gun to my head and said, "What's the Steelers' record?" You know what I wouldn't have said? 6-2. I would not have said 6-2.
6-2 against what? 7-2 this week.
Yep.
Yeah, that's that probably the matchup of the weekend. And then finally,
well, the matchup of the weekend that everyone will be talking about is Philly and Dallas.
Yeah,
but it's
most intriguing. I don't think so.
Dallas without Dak, who, by the way, they announced his injury, which is, they said, at least 4 weeks. He had a tendon actually ripped partially off of the bone. like well-cooked chicken or something.
I don't think we appreciate football players enough, to be honest.
Barbecue fall off the bone, great. Like quarterback fall off the bone, it's not good for Dak Prescott. So they're thinking that's probably going to be more than a 4-week injury. Philly is okay, but they're not the Philly of old. They're just a mediocre type team. So that's the least intriguing Philly-Dallas matchup in a while.
Yeah, no doubt.
All right, you've already talked a little bit about the lines. What's your best bet, your pick for the week to wrap up our threesome?
I am going to take the 49ers, actually, with that 6.5, which is a decent number. But I think with Christian McCaffrey back, I think they're going to handle Tampa Bay. I watched Tampa Bay this week. Great.
I will take, and this always makes me nervous, it's one of those why on earth is this line what it is? And they won as favorites that were shocking last week. The Jets are favored by 1.5 at Arizona. The Cardinals aren't a bad team. They're at home. They've got plenty to play for. They're right there in the division. I think they might even be in first place right now in the NFC West. The Jets don't have much to play for. Why would you be favored on the road in that game? Other than
they lead the NFC West.
They lead the NFC West. They're playing at home, so they've got all the reason in the world to win this game. Take the heart out of the Jets. I think this is Arizona by 10.
Wow.
I don't know why the Jets are favored in this game, but I didn't know why they were favored against Houston last week, and they won that game.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they still have Aaron Rodgers. It's not impossible, but I will take Arizona and get points at home against a losing team that has just lost 5 games in a row.
Who do you like, Paulie?
I was looking at that Commanders-Steelers spread. Washington 2.5-point favorites. I can see them winning by 3.
Sure. Easy.
Certainly. And then I was also looking at the Eagles and the Cowboys. Eagles are favored by 7, and I'm looking at a really bad Cowboys team.
Yeah, Cooper Rush.
Without their starting quarterback. I know it's on the road, but Philly is by far the superior team.
Agreed.
I think that's 7 points is a lot. But even at 7, at least you push. I'm looking at that's a minimum 10, 13-point win.
I like it.
Okay. And that is our football threesome for a Thursday. All right, we'll come back. Paulie still has a Reindl report to get to, some other headlines, stories not from the sports world.
Got an NBA coach with a mic drop last night.
Like a mic drop?
Walk away from the podium, last statement,
giving it to
and
a
then
reporter,
I'm done.
Literally dropping a mic
I'm
and
out.
walking away.
Pressure getting to him already.
I know who you're talking about. All right, we'll get to that in our final segment next with Ben and Woods on 97.3 The Fan. It's been a good show today. Did get the bad news that when fantasy camp starts, I'm being abandoned by Woods and Paul for major parts of that week so they can play their games. But
Sorry
we worked it
about
out. We worked it out. We'll be okay.
I trust you.
We talked
You're very
Aztecs.
trustworthy.
We had Mike Shildt on. We did Ben Boras puns. I think it was a worthy Thursday edition of Ben and Woods, and it's not quite done. We still have Paulie's Rindle Report coming up. This segment of Ben and Woods is brought to you by Buffalo Wild Wings. Buffalo Wild Wings is football. Hey, San Diego sports fans, head to your local Buffalo Wild Wings and try their new maple chipotle sauce for rich maple sweetness and a mild smoky chipotle heat. Or for a bit of kick, check out the new Cajun sauce for a rich blend of spicy and tangy peppers. Stop by your San Diego B-Dubs or order now for takeout and delivery with Buffalo Wild Wings. Go.
That is a mouthful.
It is a
isn't
mouthful.
it?
Not just of wings, but of words.
But of words.
We'll let Paulie do some speaking after a check of traffic here on 97.3 The Fan.
All right.
All right.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Morning.
We will start off in the NFL. One note that we didn't get to in our last segment, the NFL threesome. There was some concern about Patrick Mahomes and his availability for this weekend. Who are they taking on? The Denver Broncos. And he should be good to go. He left last weekend's game briefly, kind of got rolled up on, and it didn't look like it was very comfortable at all. He looked like he was in some pain, but he has been preparing. He has been practicing this week, and he said that he expects to have full movement, be completely ready to go on Sunday.
I thought didn't he have a non-contact injury that game?
Well, he originally rolled his ankle, I think it was, 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago.
Against the Raiders, and then he re-aggravated again on Monday night against the Bucks. So it's been bothering him, but he says movement, no limitations, nothing like that.
He'll be fine.
I'm always amazed how anyone makes it through an NFL season. Again,
I'm amazed how they make it through a quarter.
Just falling to the ground
hurts.
Would be excruciating, and they do it just multiple times a day and having to get back up, and not to mention then the hits and the cuts and everything that would be impossible. I get they're elite athletes, but still, it's such a brutal sport.
It's what do they say? It's like getting in several car wrecks.
Yeah.
Every game.
Every game. Just like, what's that ice bath feel like after one of those games?
And it's probably been a while. When was the last time you were in a car wreck? It's probably been a while, and you don't even remember. Like it just jolts your whole system.
Jarring. When's the last time you got tackled, Ben? Tackled.
It's been a long time.
Long time, right?
Long time.
We used to play full contact tackle football when we were in high school, like, which is lunacy. I wouldn't want my kids to do that now. Like, lunacy. Without gear and stuff.
Like boxing without boxing gloves.
Well, yeah, we also
There's a reason you can play adult baseball. You certainly can play adult basketball.
There's adult football.
Oh yeah, there absolutely
tackle
is.
football.
Yeah.
Like adult
full gear
tackle football.
Yeah, full gear. I have a couple buddies. One
Like
of the
there
guys,
are 40-something-year-olds who are going out and playing tackle football for fun.
Yeah, which is insane.
Really?
Yeah,
I did not know about this.
Our buddy Elijah, who played on our first Tier 1 team, he plays in a men's football league and would show up and be like, hey, look at this. And he'd have this bruise that was like purple, yellow, black. And I'm like, bro, come on.
Like a point of pride.
100%.
I feel like there's a story here. Like
adult football.
Following like adult football players.
It's not as big as adult baseball or adult basketball or anything
For a
like that.
reason, I'm sure.
Right. Because it's probably hard to find, a whole league full of players.
It's probably hard to get health insurance. If you're playing adult football, I'm like, if I'm your insurer, I'm going, no, I'm not anymore.
No,
I'm dropping your coverage immediately.
Like when we were kids, I never wore a helmet on a bike ever. I don't even think they existed. Never. And you haul ass on your 10
Did you ever
speed.
fall off your bike and hit your head?
It hit my chin. Yeah, I fell off. I did hit my head on a curb one time, my first concussion. Yeah, all the time. I don't let my kids do anything without a helmet now. Crazy.
I don't know if I've ever had a concussion.
I can give you one.
I've had a couple.
You want to
2
try?
or 3.
I don't know if I've ever
Wear
had
a helmet
concussion.
when you go snowboarding.
You want one?
I don't know if I've ever had a concussion.
Boy, he's doing bits over here.
I don't. Everyone's hit their head before. I bump my head a lot, like because I'm
you're a
tall,
tall guy.
like on door frames and things. But I don't know if it's ever to the level where I've been concussed.
Did you have you ever wanted to vomit?
No.
Yeah, and you haven't had a concussion. Because I vomited.
I think you would know.
You'd know, yeah.
All right, we'll go over to the NBA. Last night, the Lakers were blown out by the Memphis Grizzlies.
My beloved Memphis Grizzlies. Sorry about it, Ben.
131 to 114. Now, LeBron did have 39, 7 boards, 6 assists. Good game for him. Him and John Morant got into it a little bit.
That was fun. Paulie sent that clip over.
Yeah, John Morant had a nice play, and he did the bend down towards the floor, and you go like this, you're too small.
Too small.
You're too small. Then LeBron threw him to the ground on a spin move.
Yep.
Hit the bucket, did the exact same thing to him, and it got a little chippy. But
the funny thing is and Ben said it in the text, he's going for the king. John does not care. No. He's very confident in his own abilities.
I think there's a certain deference for LeBron from a lot of guys.
Dave Roberts would have
league.
lost his mind about if you did that to one of his guys.
John doesn't have that.
There was
John doesn't have it.
You're just another player out there, dude.
The NBA is so good at trash talking. It's so elite. It always has been.
Yeah,
that's great. And they don't flip out about it.
They're pretty.
They realize it's part of the game.
Yeah.
Baseball players are like, "Did you look at me? You did. I'm mad." You can't look at it. If you hit a home run for a guy, and if you glance in his direction, they go, "What? What are you looking at?" If you don't run fast enough, NBA's like, "I will blank your blank," and they're like, "Whatever, bro," and they just keep going. Baseball.
Yeah, Fernando Tatis at home run did the "you're too small" signal toward a pitcher.
my God.
The benches, the bullpens, everything clears.
It would be
Everything.
over. Over. Why can't baseball just talk trash more?
Wouldn't that be fun?
It'd be so much better if they talk trash like the NBA.
They sort of can do it in the Dominican, but then when it goes too far,
then they hit you with a bat.
Then it really gets bad.
Yeah, they throw bats at you down there. It's crazy. I think baseball needs more trash talking. You know what I mean? They do. I mean, think about when Jack Flaherty was like, "Sit down, MFer." I thought it was, it was Manny. I thought it was hey, that's what you do. That's pretty cool. But man, in the big leagues, they just get real upset.
Well, there were some more fireworks after the game because J.J. Redick was having his post-game availability with reporters, and he had already talked about maybe the effort level of some of his guys. You lose by 20+ points.
Yeah,
you have one guy, you have LeBron, you expect him to go out and have a good game.
My man is 60 years old out there throwing up 39 points.
Right.
Where's everybody else?
But one of the reporters wanted a little bit more of a follow-up. Maybe he needed a specific quote. Maybe he wanted players named for whatever he was writing about. I got the question as well as J.J. Redick's response.
Yes. Oh, God.
Mic drop,
Ooh.
gets up, walks away.
Ooh.
I just did. Mic drop.
So his point is that I've said it in front of reporters that we need to give more effort. I don't need to gather them around for a speech. They will know that I have now said this publicly, and I have now handled it. Is he right? Has he handled it? Can you coach through the media, essentially? I think the answer is yes.
I think you can.
I think unquestionably the answer is yes. And a lot of managers and coaches do it effectively.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, some will never say anything in the media. We talked to one of them earlier
we did,
today.
about 50 minutes.
But they'll handle things behind closed doors, have a quiet word with someone. Hey, I know it's a long year, but I need a little more out of you. But other managers and coaches will go, hey, yeah, I'm calling out my team. A lack of effort, a little public shaming to inspire and light a fire under their butts.
Yeah, for sure.
Can work either way, and it can backfire either way.
All right, and then finally, I've got a story here, a new relationship trend involving ChatGPT.
Ah.
Interesting. Now, I think most people are probably using ChatGPT in some capacity. Maybe you use it at work to help you out with something. I know you can use it around the house. Like, hey, you can put in, I have these ingredients, give me a recipe, and it'll give you a recipe for dinner. Like,
not bad.
There are ways to use ChatGPT, and apparently people are using it to win arguments in their relationships, asking ChatGPT for some advice. I was curious if you guys would ever consider doing this, maybe with your spouse. A guy went on to Reddit, and he was asking for some advice. He said his girlfriend is constantly using ChatGPT to win arguments. He said she'll pause a fight, mid-fight, go in the other room, type it all into ChatGPT and ask ChatGPT about it, and then comes back with a well-constructed argument breaking down everything that he said.
Would I use it? No.
Like, if I wanted to
He
come
doesn't
up
think
with
it's fair.
an argument about like fairly dividing household chores,
Right.
and I go to ChatGPT and says, how do I win this argument
Put it
with
in.
my wife or girlfriend?
Put it in right now.
If AI knows what they're doing, they will say, don't even try. You can't win an argument no matter how well reasoned it is. Never. I don't feel like I've ever won an argument, really.
Tan is a really good arguer.
Well, I feel like I am very logical. It doesn't matter. It's already been preordained that I'm going to lose the argument.
Why?
Because none of my points are ever really appreciated, I think.
I'm typing it in. All right, this one's for you, Benny.
Like, if I'm logical, then the problem is that no, you can't decide this in a logical manner. This is an emotional issue.
So number one, listen actively. Hear her out before you even present your perspective. Take the time to listen to hers. Understand why she's frustrated or why she feels the chores aren't being shared fairly. Weird that ChatGPT assumes that it's the wife that thinks that the chores aren't being equally distributed. When in your case, I think it's the other way. You want to share, hey, everyone needs to pull their weight here. Then you need to collaborate. This is terrible.
My situation is this is a hypothetical situation.
Hypothetical situation.
Hypothetical.
Completely hypothetical.
Hypothetical.
Keep the bigger picture in mind, it says. No, I don't like it. A fight can't be paused. You can't. Hang on 1 second. I'll be right back. And then I'm going to come in here and I'm going to kick your ass verbally.
Leave your phone.
Yeah, leave your phone here. It's not going to work for me.
We're done.
That's it for us.
Big show today. We will wrap up the week tomorrow. Friday edition of Ben and Woods at 6 a.m. Annie and Elston coming up next for Paulie. For Woods, I'm Ben. Have a great rest of your Thursday. From all of us here at 97.3 The Fan. Take care.